Philadelphia Phillies for answering my call, John. Sanity Week on Kincade and Salciunas. Sanity Week in the city of Philadelphia. We needed it. And my God, have they delivered. A 1-0 win in Game 1 of this series. A 9-3 win in Game 2 of this series. And then last night, even better, more runs piled on. The Phillies beat the New York Mets last night 11-3. They've officially won this series against the New York Mets, and they are now one win away from returning the favor to New York, sweeping the Mets, but even more,
one-upping them.
4 games, exactly, because last time in New York they lost in 3. This time in Citizens Bank Park, there's a chance that they could sweep the 4-game series over the New York Mets. It's something that I didn't need to see a sweeping of, but my God, did I need to see good baseball, as you heard in that intro. And we have gotten that even with the injuries to Trey Turner and Alec Boehm, despite the worries of Zach Wheeler not being in the rotation. The Phillies have answered the call to Sanity Week, and a lot of people should definitely be feeling better this morning, John.
Okay, you hit on something, Salciunas. You hit on something.
What'd I do?
Because yesterday down at the ballpark, so I'm down early, went to batting practice, was working around the trying to put ears to the ground.
Johnny journalist.
Things. Quite the journalist, yes. And whether it was media members, a few members of the people who work game staff or otherwise, I had at least 6 mentions of Sanity Week.
No way.
Yes.
That's awesome.
How is Sanity Week? Now, what's really interesting is it was a direct split of people who either were Sanity Week, this was a necessary evil.
Sure.
We should have Sanity Week. This is good that we had Sanity Week. And the other half saying, what the hell are these people? What were they all freaking worried about with this team? And it was so funny to hear the dichotomy of discussion about it.
Beauty of sports talk radio, even off the air.
And it was like the same type of discussion you and I have had about it. Then even media members involved in it, going like, "Hey, Sanity Week, how's it doing for you?"
You're welcome for the content, people.
And it was good though. But you hit on something, so I wanted to applaud you for it.
Thank you.
That it was well received. Sanity Week was well received, as far as just getting people's tongues wagging.
Yeah,
which was good.
Well,
and it was good. It's been fun.
For those of you who needed Sanity Week, right?
Yes.
You said it was split 50-50.
And it was like, that was more of the discussion was people saying it was either we definitely needed this.
Yes.
We needed this Sanity Week. Like, this was absolutely needed. Like, saying to me, John, look, Sanity Week was needed.
Hell yeah, it was.
And saying it, but the one thing was, which and I took up with a few of them, was including Cheryl, one of the staff of the Phillies on game night. Well, John, you needed it too. I was like, no, I didn't. I said I needed a split. I just needed to win the division.
You need sanity in other ways.
In other ways, I could use it,
but when it came to the Phillies, you're right.
I said I needed a split. I said I needed a split, but it damn well feels good.
My God, it feels
I feel
incredible.
better today. I feel great this morning.
Right.
And it's more importantly, and I keep saying to them, I'm a selfish bastard. It's more fun coming to work and doing the show when we're celebrating a team that looks like it is on a roll. And as I told Connor Thomas something the other day, the last 10 World Series champions have had a winning record in September. And that is the first time in baseball history that the World Series champion for 10 consecutive years has had a winning record in the month of September. So I'm excited about that. This team seems to be rolling into shape.
Yeah.
And finding some answers at the right time. When last year we weren't talking about this.
So it's interesting, finding some answers. I have a question today for everybody when it comes to not just the Phillies. This is a Philadelphia sports talk conversation or just a sports talk conversation in general because we all have opinions on players on other teams too. It's not just a Philadelphia thing. But a question that I would love for everybody to be a part of at 610-632-0975 to start today's show is how well you handle saying, quote, maybe I was wrong when it comes to sports. And maybe right or wrong isn't necessarily the conversation. It's just I had an opinion about something, and it's going the opposite in terms of what my opinion was, and I hope that it continues to go this way. And I use Max Kepler as a prime example. Now, we were not wrong to have been upset with Max Kepler's play through the first, 4 months of the season.
Nobody was wrong that was critical of his play.
We
Nobody.
were not wrong saying that when Max Kepler opened up his mouth and talked about how he was upset about platooning like twice when he was batting 207, nobody was wrong for being upset with those actions, considering how this clubhouse felt weird at times this year. We talked about it yesterday, how it seems like they're having more fun. There's a little bit more life coming from that clubhouse right now. Max Kepler yesterday, 3 for 4, 5 RBI, including the home run, in another game in which he played right field over Nick Castellanos. I thought maybe Castellanos would get the call yesterday after his previous 2 games, but the Phillies are saying, no, this is what we're doing right now. We are going to platoon those 2 players in right field. Max Kepler will face right-handed pitching. Nick Castellanos will face left-handed pitching unless somebody has the flu like Brandon Marsh had the other day.
And it's working.
Brandon Marsh, a guy who a lot of people, myself included, question whether or not he can be an everyday player for a World Series contender. He has a big night last night, 3 for 5 with 2 ribbies, 2 runs
Doesn't
scored.
it seem like that's been sort of almost the norm?
Yes,
multiple
absolutely.
hit nights.
It absolutely has been. So my question for everybody, how easy is it for you to say, maybe I was wrong, or are you somebody that likes to, bury your feet not just in the dirt? Sometimes for some of you, you bury your feet in the cement. That's how intense you are about your opinions, and you don't want to be swayed by them. I always keep it 100 with you guys. When I have an opinion that may be negative about a team in Philadelphia, I want to be wrong. That is easy for me to say. I don't know why people struggle so much with it, John, but I'm somebody that goes, oh, I thought Dave Dombrowski had a bad trade deadline post the Duran trade. Hey, maybe I was wrong. I'm happy about that. Why is that difficult for people?
That's what I say about the whole thing about like the people who are like, well, if they play the Mets in the postseason, they're going to lose. I know this team's going to gag. The 1-0 game the other night. I know they're going to blow this.
Sure.
On my timeline, all over my timeline. I feel the same way you do. There's nothing better than being wrong about a take about your own team. Nothing better.
Yeah.
There's nothing better. But the thing is, you weren't wrong about Max Kepler.
No.
You weren't wrong. If you said Nick Castellanos doesn't deserve to be an everyday player, you weren't wrong. If you weren't, whatever you said, you're not wrong if it's based in not a personal grudge or anything like that. It's just is like what I'm seeing out of Brandon Marsh. I said it last night. You realize right now, in the month of September, he's 13 for 24.
It's amazing.
He's hitting 542 in the month of September. It's absurd. It's absurd. I mean, he is on a tear, and he has a swagger to him. There's a confidence to him. Oh, and by the way, at the end of August, he was going through 1 for 4 game with a walk, 1 for 2, 2 for 3, 2 for 5 with a walk, 0 for 1, 1 for 3 with a walk, and 0 for 4 thrown in. He's been playing well for a month and a half.
Yeah.
It seems sustainable, and Kepler has a swagger to him. Now, I think Kepler has a little bit of a swag to him anyway, but now he's doing it with his game. I love it. And credit to the manager.
Sure.
A guy that I rarely credit for a lot of things. I credit him for what I think he's good at, but I think he has done a masterful job of filling out the lineup card.
And see, you can...
Masterful job.
And you know what, John? It's very big of you for saying that because I know there's probably somebody listening right now that goes, I don't give Topper any credit.
Well, he's done a masterful... If you don't, you're not paying attention.
But you know there's people that do that. And that's why today's topic, how well do you handle saying maybe I was wrong? Or how well do you give somebody credit that you don't feel a certain type of way about? Like when Nick Castellanos has a good night.
It's easy to be... Isn't it easy to be... When you're wrong about your team, to be happy about it?
I would think so. It would be nice. But like... I put out a pro Nick Castellanos tweet 2 nights ago after he had the 2-run double, and immediately there are some people going, yeah, this is just a blip on the radar.
He had 2 biggest hits of the first 2 games of the series.
Right.
And people are saying that to you?
Because people struggle with admitting that somebody's playing well when they already have an opinion. So why is it that sometimes you dig your feet so deep into the cement when it comes to an opinion when it comes to sports. Let us know, 610-632-0975, as we continue to celebrate the great return of Sanity Week for the Philadelphia Phillies, who have taken the first 3 against the Mets this series. Coming up next, I saw a perfect tweet, John.
When did I send
It
it?
was not about you. To describe how
No, when did I send it?
You never did, because none of them been perfect. It's a perfect tweet that describes how some sports fans feel about players that they didn't like earlier in the season. Now, pandering may help. We'll discuss it next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Attention, Delaware Valley. 97.5 The Fanatics on...
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him 1 game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making. For anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship / spitting / conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, our question today is, how well do you handle saying maybe I was wrong, or how well do you handle giving somebody credit when credit is due? I saw a tweet 2 days ago. Well, I saw it yesterday, but it was tweeted out 2 days ago. Did you see Max Kepler's pregame shirt on September the 9th? Did you see it? Yes, no? No, I guess I know.
No,
All
I did
right.
not. No,
All right, I got crickets. Like, hello.
No, his pregame. I didn't know where you're going with that.
So
No,
he was wearing a shirt, and it was just a plain, white short sleeve sweatshirt, but it was a photo of Always Sunny when Glenn Howerton rips off his shirt and has Go Phils painted on his chest.
Oh, love that.
It's from one of the episodes way, way back when the Phillies were in the World Series, and they were like, oh, let's create an episode off of this, just like they did for the Super Bowls. Like, that's why Always Sunny's great. And that's why Philadelphia sports is having a great time right now. And so I saw somebody quote tweet it, and I can't find it, and I'm sorry because I would love to give the person proper credit. But it was a Phillies fan. And the Phillies fan quote tweeted somebody's tweet about the shirt and said, damn, he's making it really hard for me to not like him anymore. Because there are people that dig into an opinion, right? There were a lot of people that realized this past Thursday that Darius Slay wasn't that bad, right? We watched Adoree Jackson getting just absolutely gashed last Thursday, and a lot of the people that had crap to say about Darius Slay for years in this city finally realized, he actually was pretty good.
Now, I can tell you this, is that Steeler fans this week were not thrilled with his debut.
There was one play where he got cooked on, yes.
But they were just thinking that he was playing very soft.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay, well, there's going to be times of that. I said, part of that's your scheme.
Right, exactly.
So, but they're getting on those.
So when I see a tweet like that, that's the prime example of you have an opinion on this guy that you don't want to waver off of. Like, you want to continue to dislike this player, not this person, because nobody knows Max Kepler, the person. Obviously we ripped him for the comments that he made earlier this year about the playing time. But that's a prime example of somebody going, all right, I don't like him. I said a lot of things about him. I'm going to continue to say things about him. Or I'm going to joke around like, all right, you're starting to make me like you a little bit. I don't know why that's hard for people. Like, for me, if a player is helping your team out, celebrate it. Plain and simple, period.
Like, I don't understand it. And I've said it before. It's funny. I had a couple emails from people that the last couple of days have heard me go off on this. They're trying to explain themselves. I can't have you explain to me how you're not. I root for the laundry. I've said it before.
Right.
I root for if you're wearing the Phillies thing, you're mine at that time. At that time, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
And I'll suck it up sometimes. Like for you, I'll go, okay, I don't like that player, but I'll deal with it. And because I'm rooting for you to have success.
Absolutely.
I'm not really. I don't really understand it.
No, I don't. Like, look, what we do for a living, we have to give opinions all the time. So obviously, somebody will say, "Remember when you said this about this player?" Like, yeah,
we do. Yeah,
because at the time they were playing poorly, and so we give opinions every single day about players. But I will also sit here and applaud the next day when Brandon Marsh has a big day, when Max Kepler has a big day. I'll applaud Dave Dombrowski for getting Harrison Bader and clearly seeing something out of David Robertson. Do I think they thought this well? Maybe not, but he's been a spectacular addition for them to a team that desperately needed a bullpen.
We got to thank Ray Dunn. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, yeah, he was pushing for that for a while.
Ray Dunn, who honestly took it on like a religious crusade.
Yes, he did.
He really did, and I thanked Ray Dunn. I've sent a few tweets
as you should.
Publicly, Ray Dunn, for being so vocal about it.
I wanted
it too, but he really did. He was. I think there may be a Dunn Robert, sort of like a Sirianni thing in the afternoons with Colorillo.
Yeah. So answer that question for us. How well do you handle saying maybe I was wrong about something when it comes to sports? You can text in, you can call in 610-632-0975. Exactly.
When it's not your team, it's harder.
I know.
When it's your team, it should be easy.
It should be easy. Also, coming up next, we're another day closer to Eagles-Chiefs. Yesterday, I told you how good I feel about Sunday's game. It's chess day every single day this week. I think it will be a comfortable win, John.
Comfortable win now. You've moved to comfortable.
Yes.
I like this.
Why shouldn't I say that? I see a reason being discussed, and it's making me feel like the Super Bowl all over again. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies smoked the Mets again. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies, they beat the Mets again last night, an 11-3 final that gives them their third straight victory over New York. Christopher Sanchez went 6 innings, 1 earned, and the Phillies outfield provided the majority of the offense. Bader, Marsh, and Kepler combined for 8 hits, 5 runs scored, and 7 RBIs. 5 of those RBIs coming from Kepler, who Rob Thompson talked about after the game.
I think he's getting the ball up in the air. He's pulling the ball when he needs to. He's hitting the ball the other way when he needs to, and he's got his confidence. So a lot of times when a guy goes to a new team, it puts a little more pressure on himself than he probably should, but he's in a really good spot right now.
The lead in the NL East is now up to 10 games with only 16 more for the Phils to play. They can add to that in Game 4, 7:15 tonight at the Bank as they go for the 4-game sweep. Jesus Luzardo faces David Peterson. The Eagles had a bit of a surprise on their first injury report of the week. Dallas Goddard was listed as did not practice with a knee injury. Tanner McKee and Will Shipley were also out. Landon Dickerson and Jalix Hunt were limited. We got a big matchup tonight. Commanders at Packers on Thursday Night Football at 8:15. We'll talk to Amy Trask, who covers the NFL for CBS Sports, at 8:25. This update's brought to you by Wendy's. Their Wendy's breakfast, 2 for $3 Biggie bundles let you choose the perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him 1 game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making. For anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship/spitting/conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches.
Cards giveaway today. We will do one each an hour. We'll tell you how you can win it. We always give you a keyword to text in and which number you'd have to be. So we'll let you know how you can win the first one. And I read an article this morning. It was posted late last night, but I read an article this morning about the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's making me feel like we're leading up to the Super Bowl all over again.
I can't wait to hear this
Which
angle.
adds
We didn't
to-
talk about it. So
it adds to my excitement about this upcoming game that I've told you I feel pretty good about. And
You
to
feel
the point,
better
I feel
today?
comfortable.
Do you
Yeah.
feel better today than you did yesterday?
Yeah, I think this is
Okay.
going to be like I'm going to be probably
'Cause I
annoying
feel-
on Friday.
I feel good. That's tomorrow, by the way.
yeah.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
I feel good about it. I don't feel like you, but I feel good about it. I don't feel like you.
All right.
You're feeling like chest day.
I feel
by the
chesty.
By the way, today is chest day and shoulder day. So I'm scared a little
Yesterday was chest day for me.
See, so that's
maybe
what it
that,
is.
Maybe that adds to
That
it.
may
Come
be
on,
added
guys.
to it.
Monday's International Chest Day. We got to get you working on that.
No,
man.
on this show this week, every day's chest day, baby.
For you, maybe.
bit. Yeah.
All right, real quick. I saw
You have to build one first.
I saw one of our YouTube fellow YouTube people, Colin, our man Colin Berger, chimes in on YouTube saying, "Thank God for sports on a day like today."
Good.
Obviously,
Colin with a great thought to start the morning.
yeah, great thought. So
Sort of a double hit today.
today is September 11th, 24 years removed from the horrible, horrible moment in this country. John, you emailed me last night. You're amazed by Connor and I and how we lived it so much differently than you.
I honestly, I think about it. I thought about it last night. It just is rarely do I, even though we joke about it, like sometimes the age difference, guys. It really hit me yesterday going, okay, here's Haley, here's Connor, here's Andrew. And you guys, my memories of 9/11 are so vivid. They're Technicolor. Like I can relive that day.
Sure.
I did 7 hours of live radio. They called me in early. Used to do, at the time I was doing 3 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
And they literally just called, my boss was like, you got to come in, just come in. And we just did a talk show that day. And I said, why don't we just go to the network and go to do something, like go to news, because we were, WCNN was our station,
Okay.
but we were a sports station. And he said, no, people are used to talking to you
Sure.
on a daily basis.
It's a community show.
And it was the hardest day I've ever done in this medium. It will never be repeated that badly. I hope it will
Right.
never be repeated.
Right.
And to me, I just think of it, and I think of, I was thinking this morning, I said, I went by the Westchester University football stadium this morning, just to Timmy Horrocks, one of the heroes of 9/11, who was one of the co-pilots on the first plane that hit the tower. Westchester University former quarterback. Just like we have local heroes that are involved in the story. It's just it's a horrible thing. The amount of families. Timmy Soulis, who was a couple years behind me at O'Hara, left behind 6 kids.
Yeah.
And people who died that day. And I remember trying to contact people who I knew worked in the tower, and the phone wouldn't work.
Right.
And you get that. Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Doo-doo-doo. And whenever I hear that from now on in the rest of my life, whenever I get that signal, it always sort of triggers a response of, oh my God, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Not that just the phone didn't go
No,
through.
absolutely.
Because of that. And yesterday afternoon was just,
Yeah.
It's just awful.
Look, this is a show, as you
It was
guys know.
awful.
We focus on sports on this show.
and we do.
Man lost his life yesterday, and that's horrible. And
In a vicious, cowardly, Disgraceful.
I don't care what anybody's political views are. Like yesterday was a scary day in this country. And
if you celebrated it,
I saw discourse on social media that made me sick yesterday. And if you follow this show, you don't know who I am when it comes to my personal life. I don't side with anybody. I am the abnormal one, which is weird. My wife and I talked about this last night. We are the weird ones because we aren't on a side. We don't register as a party member. I like to listen to both sides, and I think that's the best way to get information. We are my wife and I are the abnormal ones. But yesterday was scary, and you and I were talking about it during the break. It's somebody within this country that did it, and it's a sad day yesterday.
One thing I like though about our whole group is that we all are people that, and a lot of us around this station are people who will listen to each other too, and have very different. Some of us have very different opinions on different issues, but we tend to be people who listen to each other. And yesterday afternoon was hard. Yesterday was a horrifying day for social media.
And at the same time, there was another school shooting that happened yesterday, and I'm a father now. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that's heavy.
Those are going to hit different.
Yeah, stuff like that's heavy. So, a 24 years removed from September 11th, a crazy day that happened yesterday in this country, and we'll leave it at that. There's no real way to transition. From that.
But it can't go without being mentioned.
No, absolutely not.
I moved on.
All right, so I read an article on Fox, Johnny. There's my transition.
There you go.
FoxSports.com. Are the Chiefs really in trouble? NFL sources. Call me when Reid and Mahomes retire. This is an article written by Ralph Vacchiano and Eric Williams, both of Fox Sports. They do a tremendous job covering the league. And it's making me think about the Super Bowl all over again. Everybody. Locally, and even the national media members that picked the Chiefs said the Eagles were the better team. But why did they pick the Chiefs?
Because of the Chiefs, because of Patrick Mahomes, because of their pedigree, because of Andy Reid. And so
tell me how the Eagles aren't the better roster in week 2.
They're the better roster by far. By far. I'm maybe thinking 5 or 6 positions where the Chiefs match the Eagles.
So I'm sitting here today as I'm feeling more and more confident about Sunday's game between the Eagles and the Chiefs. All I'm seeing again is, Mahomes and Reid. That's exactly what people said. There were people, I still remember, on ESPN when they were making their final predictions. Yeah, you know what? The Eagles are the better team. They've been great all season long. They've been dominant in the, obviously the NFC Championship game was a dominant win ever since they went to the ground game. But, how can you beat Andy? How can you bet against Patrick Mahomes? It's the same thing, just it's 7 months removed.
Well, bottom line, last time you went to Arrowhead on a Monday Night Football game, you won.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl, it was an absolute ass-whipping. In the Super Bowl 57, if it wasn't for the fumble by Jaylen Hurts, you win that game. Period.
Right.
You win the game. So, it's like there should be no fear at all that the Eagles are the better team and that they have the absolute ability to have as good a game plan, if not better.
Now, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is a legitimate reason, right? Like, I'm not saying, you're crazy to say that. But if that's the only reason that somebody can tell me the Chiefs will beat the Eagles, I can give you 500 more reasons as to why the Eagles will beat the Chiefs. I just feel like that's why I feel so good about this game.
People are going to need you to back that up.
All right, maybe not 500.
With at least, how about 5?
5.
How about 5?
All right, that sounds good. We'll do that.
How about 5?
We got today, we got tomorrow, we got a Football Friday tomorrow, and we're getting closer and closer to kickoff.
2 hours at DeCheco tomorrow.
Damn right we do. I feel extremely comfortable and confident in Sunday's game. And a lot of it is, of course, Jalen Carter not being suspended. All right, coming up next, we'll check our text line for the first time this morning. So your reaction to that, when people can really only give you the Mahomes-Reid factor as to why they may think the Chiefs could have a chance winning on Sunday, let's discuss all the reasons why the Eagles could beat the Chiefs, because there's a lot more, in my opinion, and I think you all agree with us. And also, how well do you handle saying, maybe I was wrong, when it comes to sports? Because the Phillies are doing a lot of things right now that I think a lot of people doubted, myself included. We'll check our text line for the first time this morning. Coming up next, it's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The summer's here, and you know what that means.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making, for anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship/spitting/conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wendy's.
It does.
Wendy's. So let's give me a word, Connor.
Let's go biscuit.
Biscuit. I'm putting you on a spot with the word biscuit. Let's go text number 7 for Johnny. Text number 7. The seventh
Why don't you
person.
pick 7? That's so predictable.
Well, it's because it's your favorite number.
Well, it is.
The seventh person to text the word biscuit to 610-632-0975 will win our first of 4 $50 gift cards to Wendy's. Wendy's breakfast, 2 for $3 biggie bundles, lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. Again, biscuit to 610-632-0975. Seventh person will win the first of our 4 $50 gift cards to Wendy's. All right, what do we got on the text line this morning, Connor? We are having like a open-ended kind of conversation. Right, we're here. Look, today's a crazy day. So we are here to talk sports. We're here to try to keep it light. why is it so hard for people to admit that they may have been wrong? Or why is it so hard for some people to just dive into the excitement and celebration of somebody that maybe you had a feeling about when it comes to sports, right? There are a lot of people that feel a certain type of way about Max Kepler because of how he played earlier this year. Remember all the Whit Merrifield comparisons, because here's another veteran that's had a decent career, but he can't do anything with this team. And there are a lot of people that dug their feet, and I don't even say the sand, John, I say the concrete, dug their feet so deep into the concrete with their opinion of Max Kepler that now that he's playing well, people don't want to buy into it or even celebrate it, to the point where I saw a tweet. I think it was more of a humorous tweet, but I saw a tweet yesterday when Max Kepler wore an Always Sunny in Philadelphia t-shirt as his warm-up shirt 2 days ago. Somebody said, damn, he's making it really hard for me to still not like him. Well, then like him. Like
what do you
if you like what he's about, if he's playing better baseball, then just celebrate it. And if he goes on an 0 for 30 streak, we can say, damn, he's getting back to where he was earlier in the season.
I've had 2 short conversations with Max Kepler. If you don't like Max Kepler, now look, you may just not like him. Maybe someone says that it's the ball player they're talking about. You couldn't not like Max Kepler if you talk to him. Like, he's that kind of, his energy's very, very good.
Right.
And the thing is, I think he's a guy who really, really wants to do well here. He wants to help this team, and he's doing it right now. Let's just cross our fingers that it goes for that we get another 6 weeks out of him.
Yep. And when it comes
when it
comes to the Eagles, I read an article this morning. Again, the title, Are the Chiefs Really in Trouble? NFL sources, call me when Reid Mahomes retire. It was somebody within the NFL texted Ralph Falciano that. Call me when Reid and Mahomes retire, and that's when they'll find out when they're in trouble.
Really?
That's the only.
That's really interesting.
Again, that's what the conversation was leading up to Super Bowl 59. The Eagles were the better team, but Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid.
How many people did we sit down with, like even on Radio Row?
All of them.
I think of our man Matt Ryan.
All of them.
Matt Ryan sat down with us and talked about he talked about all the things he loved about the Eagles. And then he picked the Chiefs to win
and we asked him why.
A tight nail bait. Well, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes just always find a way.
Yeah. That was the only basis. And look, not a bad basis to have.
And I got a text from Matt in the third quarter going, well, this one's not going to end up close.
No, it did not end up close.
And so but people just assume it's always going to be that way. Now, I don't think the Chiefs are ever going to be in trouble.
No, I think they're a playoff
as long as
team.
they got Mahomes and Reid, that you can always pencil them in to be right there in the mix. But kings of the bullies on the block. Oh yeah, I think they're.
Well,
in
we're
trouble.
talking about the Eagles, one of the top teams in football.
And that's what
If this was Chiefs Cowboys and the Chiefs started 0-2. Yeah, with Mahomes and Reid, you could see them bounce back against a team like the Cowboys. But they're trying to bounce back from their Week 1 loss to the Chargers against the Super Bowl champion.
Correct.
And so that's why I feel
that they
so
got
good.
pantsed by.
Yes, exactly. What do we got on the text line, Connor?
Ms. from Northeast Philly checks in, says, I, for one, love being proven wrong. I actually hope that the team and players prove me wrong. I'm not the biggest Aaron Nola fan. I'm the he'll blow it with the 5th inning every time around guy.
Sure.
But I pray every time he takes them out, he proves me wrong. When he does, I openly give him praise because it's deserved.
This was why, a couple of years ago, I'm going to go blast from the past just because his name's popped up a lot on social media this week because there was the reports that there was interest in Ben Simmons returning back to Philadelphia.
By the way, we're going to hopefully be able to get some answers on that coming up. I do not believe that report.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe it either.
I don't believe it.
I just think that bridge imploded. Like, there's just no way that's ever going to be rectified. But I saw those reports from Ben Simmons, and I go back to the debates that I used to have with people. Like, I was a Ben Simmons defender to the point where, I was yelling and screaming at people because there were people that were actively rooting for him to not play well. They did not like him being the too cool for school attitude. They didn't like that he didn't shoot and all that kind of stuff, and ignored all the good that he did. Because let's face it, the first 3 years of his career, before he went completely sideways, he did a lot of good things for this basketball team, and people wouldn't give him credit for it. They were just so fixated on not shooting and maybe the personality. And so I get it. Nick Castellanos has 2 good nights offensively, and right away people were going, yeah, but his defensive metrics. Sure, you're right. You're not wrong that the defensive metrics could be a problem. That doesn't mean you have to not say, but good job offensively tonight. That's the thing that's weird to me. Like, people dig into an opinion so deep that they won't celebrate when something good happens.
Yeah, people just don't like certain people or players or things. I mean, that's life, man.
But if
Some
it's
people
your-
are just stubborn about it.
But if it's your team, I don't get it.
Right, exactly.
Like, I don't understand it. Like, I cannot fathom. And to me, no, you're not a fan of your team. You're not. You say you are, but you're not.
I don't think that's a line of fandom for the team, but it could be for that individual player.
You're literally rooting against a person who's on your team. You're not rooting for your team then. That is not a fan. You don't root against, you're rooting actively against somebody who's on your team. That is against, you are
And
rooting.
by the way, odds are.
You're rooting against your team then.
Odds are they never met the person.
Yeah,
That's the other weird
Like,
thing.
let's think about this, okay? We remember the Nate Gary thing for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's just the first example. I hated that dude. Like, I never wanted to be on that team again. It doesn't mean I'm not an Eagles fan.
Yeah, but you were also.
No, but you could say, it's okay to say a guy sucks.
But if Nate Gary had an interception, you wouldn't sit there and go,
Gotta hate that guy.
I wish
Gotta
that
hate
didn't
that guy.
happen.
we would hit the white snake drop and then make fun of him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
That's
thing.
fine,
And
but
that's
that's
us sticking
fine.
with the opinions still a little bit. We're just having fun with it. I mean, people get entrenched in their opinions with everything, and they stick there as long as they can.
You mean to tell me if Jordan Romano came out of the bullpen for a playoff game, I hope that doesn't happen.
Oh, I don't
You're
want to
not
see
gonna.
that happen.
You're not gonna sit there and say, "Come on, man,
Come on, Jordan.
come on."
Please.
Just like the Ben Simmons, the free throw.
Jordan, you got a chance. You got a chance to redeem everything. I know what I'd be saying on my couch. I'd be going, slate's clean, dude. Slate is clean.
Yeah,
I'd
then
be
when-
saying, Rob Thompson, get out of
Well,
town.
if he gives up 4 runs, then we would have to talk.
but I'd be saying, slate's clean, dude.
Right.
Just get this done. Slate is clean.
By the way, he's not coming back, right?
I hope not. I hope not. Honestly, he had enough chances. He had enough chances.
Phantom. What was it?
Oh, my
Middle
God.
finger inflammation. Have we gotten any updates? Has it gone down?
Well, they're doing middle finger rehab. It's very rehab-ish.
All right, coming up next, we'll check more of our text messages. Also, we have a major Week 2 NFL matchup tonight. 2 potential playoff teams, 2 teams that could be in the Eagles' path toward a Super Bowl win. The question is, who do we want to win tonight? An incredible reaction from John Kincade yesterday, and then he had to stop and think. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A blowout win for the Phils. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Wendy's. Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. Phils smoked the Mets again last night. An 11-3 final gives them their 3rd straight victory over New York. Christopher Sanchez went a strong 6 innings, 1 earned, and the Phils outfield stepped up big. Bader, Marsh, and Kepler combined for 8 hits, 5 runs scored, and 7 RBIs. 5 of those RBIs belonging to Kepler, who Rob Thompson talked about after the game.
I think he's getting the ball up in the air. He's pulling the ball when he needs to. He's hitting the ball the other way when he needs to, and he's got his confidence. So a lot of times when a guy goes to a new team, it puts a little more pressure on himself than he probably should, but he's in a really good spot right now.
The lead in the NL East is now up to 10 games for the Fighting Phils, and they can add to that in Game 4. 7:15 tonight, Jesus Luzardo versus David Peterson. The Eagles had a bit of a surprise on their first injury report of the week. Dallas Goddard did not practice yesterday with a knee injury. Tanner McKee and Will Shipley were also out. Landon Dickerson and Jalix Hunt limited. Got a big matchup tonight on Thursday Night Football. Commanders, Packers. We'll talk to Amy Trask, who covers the NFL for CBS Sports at 8:25. This update's also brought to you by King's Hawaiian Sliders. Eli Manning reminds you there's nothing like football in King's Hawaiian Sliders. King's Hawaiian Sliders make you a winner on game day. Pick them up this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. I'm Connor Thomas on your own for the best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Previously on Unfiltered.
When you talk about
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making. For anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship / spitting / conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally back to some of our topics and our text messages momentarily, but yesterday we got a great reaction from John Kincade because right at the end of the show yesterday, I mentioned how excited I am for tomorrow, which tomorrow being today. And we have a major game tonight between the Commanders and Packers in Lambeau. Packers, 3.5-point favorites. And this is two teams that we know will most likely be in the postseason. Obviously, we have our opinions about the Commanders, and we don't fear them as much as a lot of people do. I think people are getting back to reality a little bit, John. The way people talk about the Commanders, it seems to be coming back down a little bit. I think people are coming back down to earth.
Now, the thing is they go out tonight and ball out in Lambeau Field, and even if they go out there and lose 30-27,
then there will be a lot of Jaden Daniels love.
And I'm willing to change my opinion.
Sure.
I don't believe that the I don't believe the Commanders are what people say they are.
So the great reaction when I mentioned it, you immediately said, "Go Pack, go."
Dun, 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 dun. Get ready to hear that tonight a lot.
That was your immediate reaction, and I go, "Are you sure about that?" Because here's the deal.
And you brought it up, and I said, wow, next level thinking from Andrew Salciunas.
Obviously, you always want your division rivals to lose.
And that's job one.
right. And you want to win the division.
Job one, win your division. But I like how you think because we're going to take care of this division.
And I think the Eagles, for the first time in 19 years, are back-to-back division winners in the NFC East. I know it's crazy that it's been 2 decades of that. But the Green Bay Packers could very well potentially beat you for the number 1 seed. You do have a head-to-head matchup with them. Obviously, you play the Commanders twice in the final 3 weeks of the season, which is crazy. But I want to hear from people on this at 610-632-0975 as you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio powering possibilities. Who would you prefer to win tonight?
I think, Connor, please don't cut this. I think Andrew Salciunas is really smart.
Thank you.
Because this is the toughest game the Packers will play before they play the Eagles on November 10th.
Yeah.
So for the next 2 months, this is their best chance to lose against the Commanders. And so, yes, you are correct. Tonight, though it doesn't seem logical, we want the Commodes to lose. We want the Commodes to win.
Win.
Yeah, we want the Commodes to win tonight.
Unless you're one of the people that are like, oh my God, the Commanders are a juggernaut.
No.
And I know there are people that are still out there that
fine.
feel that way.
I'm fine with
I don't see it that way. I don't see
either.
the Commanders being some juggernaut. The Packers, look, if I were to pick Eagles versus Packers in a playoff game, especially if it's at Lincoln Financial Field, I'm going to go with the Eagles in this situation. But what if it's not in Lincoln Financial Field? What if it's at Lambeau? What if the Packers have the home game? What if the Packers have home field advantage throughout the playoffs? I would prefer the NFC to go through Philadelphia, then through Lambeau, then through Green Bay. And tonight is one of those moments where you kind of need a division rival and probably the best one in your division, right? Because the Cowboys aren't going to be there. You definitely know the Giants aren't going to be there. Even though it might sound backwards, you kind of want the Commanders to win tonight.
Here's another reason, is 2 of your last 3 games are against the Commanders.
Sure.
So you got a chance to clean up whatever you got to clean up head-to-head. So if you're behind, at the end of the year, you can take care of that. If you're 2 games back of the Commanders, you can win the division by winning those 2 games and taking care of business. You're absolutely correct. I was incorrect. Tonight is go Commodes. I am all Commodes tonight.
I'm not so sure.
Okay, give us why.
By the way, YouTube sides with you.
It depends on your evaluation of the Eagles. If you believe the Eagles are going to be a 13-win football team who does not struggle with this schedule and is a juggernaut team again, then you want the Commanders to win this game because the Commanders aren't winning 13 games. So you'll win the division.
I think they're going to win 12. I think the Eagles are going to win 12. That's what I said before the year, and so I'll stick with it. And maybe they win more. That'd be great. But I'm going to say 12. So what if you think they're going to be a 12-win team?
If you think they're going to have trouble with the schedule and the division's going to be potentially a little bit tighter, then you want the Packers to win this game.
Job one is always the division.
Right.
And that's what Nick Sirianni would tell us. But to me, look, this team, it's bully on the block time. You're the best team in the NFL. You're the Super Bowl favorites out of the NFC. The number 1 contender to you, and I said it all summer long, and I believe it very much, is the team we're going to see tonight, and that's the Packers, not the Commanders. Packers lost, and I feel dumber that I didn't say it yesterday.
Well, no, it's just like our conversation. Tonight. You admit when you're wrong, and you celebrate it.
Well, I don't celebrate it. I feel dumb that I was dumb.
Like I look at the Commanders' schedule, right? So they got the Packers game tonight. They have the Raiders and Falcons, which, of course, the Raiders will be better this year. We'll see who the Falcons are in Week 4 of this NFL season. They have the Chargers. They have the Bears. They have the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Lions, the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Vikings, the Giants, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Eagles. The reason why I do that is I look at this schedule and I still see the Commanders being like a 10-win football team, which is still a playoff team, and that's another good season for year 2 of Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels. That's very good. But 10 wins is not winning the NFC East. And if they can steal a win tonight, and by steal I mean, look, they're going into the game as the underdog. The Packers are the favorite, 3-point favorite, 3.5-point favorite, depending on what your book is. The Commanders are the underdogs in this game. And if the Commanders were to win this football game, I don't think that the Commanders are all of a sudden going to be a 12-win football team and knock the Eagles off and win the division, win the NFC East. If the Packers win, that's 2-0, and you look at the Packers' schedule, obviously their division is difficult. But other than that, you look at the Packers, you go, all right, they could win a lot of football games to the point where they could be higher than the Eagles in standings, and I don't necessarily want to travel to Lambeau.
Yeah,
No,
I don't.
I'm with you.
I don't. And we're going to travel to Lambeau in November.
Yes, we will, so we could get a little teaser of that.
And look, the Bears are going to be better as the season goes along. They got 2 late games with the Bears. They have to go to the Broncos. They got a late game with the Ravens. That may mean something with the Ravens, but they get it at home. Packers are going to be tough. Packers are, and I said it all. I said it all summer. I thought they were the number 1 threat, and they're right there. And the Buccaneers too, who we're going to see in a couple weeks.
Sure. So I want to hear from people on that as well. Are you picking a team, maybe not to root for, but the team you would hope to win tonight? And I believe it's smarter to hope for the Commanders to win tonight. Maybe you're not rooting for them because you don't want them to like have some incredible win, and then all of a sudden that's all that's talked about all weekend on the networks. But it helps the Eagles out, I think, in the long run, the big picture. And the big picture is getting one of those top seeds. 610-632-0975. That's the number to text in. What else we have on the text line, Connor, about our topics about the Phillies or the overall topic of why is it hard for some of you to admit when you were wrong or to just celebrate somebody that you have an opinion about that's having a good game or a good stretch of games? And also the Fox article I read this morning, Call Me When Reid and Mahomes Retire, was the title about whether or not.
And who wrote that? Do you know?
It was Ralph Vacchiano of Fox, and he spoke with a couple of people inside the NFL, and he was asking whether or not he thinks that the Chiefs are in trouble, and that was the response that he got.
In trouble just is such a vague. I don't believe the Chiefs are in trouble.
No, I don't think so either.
Now on Sunday, I think they could be in trouble,
and that's why I feel comfortable about Sunday because again, it feels like the Super Bowl all over again. The Eagles are the better team, but they have Mahomes and Reid.
Yes.
Okay, how'd that work out for them last time? What do we got on the text line?
This texter says, I don't root against any player, but if Castellanos does well for a night or two, I know it's bad news because the next few weeks we'll have 0 approach at the plate and more swings for home runs and dirt balls than any of us have swung at combined.
See, now why? Why?
Like why?
Why?
He doesn't know that.
That's not true.
Nick Castellanos has come up with the 2 biggest hits, arguably, in this Mets series.
Yeah.
He got you the 1 hit that won you the game the other night in Game 1. And then he gave you a 2-0 lead in Game 2.
Against a kid that had been pitching so well this season in McLean.
So I completely...
Or was that Game 1?
That was Game 1.
Game
That
1 was
one.
the McLean. Thank you.
I completely reject the premise because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
We also have seen this guy not just have 2 good games and then go down a spiral. We've seen this guy uplift the team
Against,
in the playoffs.
How about ask the Atlanta Braves how much they love facing Nick Castellanos. They freaking hate him. He is hated.
But it's amazing. It's the Darius Slay thing. Those 2 guys, Darius Slay and Nick Castellanos, are the same person to me. They just wear different jerseys. When they do well, there is not celebration. So that texter lied. Maybe he does. But a lot of people say, oh, yeah, I celebrate when he does well. I don't believe that to be true because the second something goes poorly, you are the first one to get on social media. You're the first one to text your buddy. You're the first one to yell at your TV. Come on, you always do this, you bum. When that's not necessarily true.
Whose voice is that, by the way?
Probably my dad's.
Is that your dad's?
Yeah.
Sounds like you make him sound grumpy. I play golf with your dad. He seems
He's not a grumpy man.
He didn't seem grumpy at all.
But his Philadelphia sports team, they can make him grumpy.
Okay, does he like turn it on?
Yeah.
Like, is there like a switch?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There's a switch.
No,
Make the switch.
He made
the switch.
Sure did. All right, coming up next, the Eagles injury report came out yesterday, and unfortunately, a familiar name popped up on it. We'll discuss that coming up next. We'll check more of your text messages. We have another Wendy's $50 gift card to give away. The second one this show, we do one an hour. We already gave one out in the 6 o'clock hour. We'll have one in the 7 o'clock hour as well. It is Kincade and Salciunas on this Thursday morning, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoons feel like Groundhog Day because you keep hearing the same old
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making, for anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship/spitting/conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
You say something, then everybody starts yelling at you. YouTube not with us in terms of the wanting the Commanders to win.
Let me hear about this. Why?
Just the fact that they don't want the division to be tighter. Like they think they're not thinking about the 1 seed.
Are they but then that tells me they're afraid that the Commanders can win the division.
I guess.
Okay, I'm not. So that's where we part ways. I am not.
Tommy Reardon checks in on
What's up, Tommy?
on Twitter.
Tommy never skips chest day.
I think y'all are nuts this AM. We need the Packers tonight.
What?
I guess we need the Packers to lose. He just says we need the Packers tonight. Chances are the Birds and Commanders will sweep New York and Dallas, and then they usually split with each other. The NFC North will cannibalize itself, leaving the Birds with the better record. So yes, he
I don't
thinks
believe
the
that
Packers need to
I don't
lose.
believe that the Eagles and the Commanders usually split, do they?
They did last year because Jalen Hurts.
They did last year. They
head
were
got
up,
drilled
they were
into
up
the ground.
14-0, and then stupid backup threw a interception
Yeah.
deep in his own territory when they had the ball. That literally let them back in the game, and then Devontae dropped the ball. They should have won that game too.
Right.
And then they blew them out, and the two teams aren't comparable.
Yeah.
I am not scared of the Commanders, not in the least scared of the Commanders beating the Eagles over a 17 game slate.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not out on the Commanders' possibility of winning the division. Like, I'm not as chesty on that as you are. That was a team that played in the NFC Championship game last year. And
Yeah, and a million things went right for him.
I know.
They had two of those miracle last minute, the deflection win, the 95-yard touchdown to send it. I mean,
But let's look at the team you're playing this weekend. How many years could we say, look at the miracles that the Chiefs have gotten, and then all of a sudden you look back and you're like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is like the next great thing.
All right,
Yeah,
I got to see more and more of it.
I know you do, but I'm just saying, like, the Jayden Daniels thing, I don't
would tell
think
you-
should be poo-pooed
I've said this 100 times. That team batted 1,000 last year with every addition that they made. I saw the Eagles do the exact same thing in 2017-18, and what happened the next couple of years.
I would ask you right now, how many players, overlay the rosters, how many Commanders start in the Eagles? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? How many Commanders start for the Eagles? 4? 8 maybe? And if you
sure.
tell me Jayden Daniels, you're basing it on what you think he could potentially be. And remember, when you tell me that, remember that the punter had the longest completion in the NFC title game.
Yeah, but listen, you keep going back to that. That's the NFC title game. That's different than the regular season.
Okay, regular
like-
season. What did he do? He didn't do anything until the game was over in the game on Monday night. The game on Monday night that was 12-10, that they literally didn't do anything here. And then he got points when the Eagles went up by 2 scores.
Right. You're talking about Commanders versus Eagles. That's
Okay.
not necessarily the conversation. If the Eagles play the Commanders, I will take the Eagles every single damn time. But Jayden Daniels might be good. He's the offensive
I think
rookie of the
he-
year returning. And
I love Jayden Daniels' game.
Yeah,
but
you
I'm
didn't
saying
want him in this
but he's not
division.
better than Jalen Hurts. I didn't want him. I wanted the Bears to take him.
Right,
I didn't want him.
I'm not
But
saying-
Connor's
how
talking
many-
about the division.
But
and
how many players on the Commanders could start for the Eagles?
that's
not
not
what
the
Connor's
point.
saying.
But it is the point
No, what
if
Connor-
you're
what
worried about
Connor
them winning
is-
the division. But if they play the same schedule, Connor.
They do play a very
I
similar
know they
schedule.
do.
Okay, well then if you do, then you're telling me
They
you
don't
think
play these teams at the same time in the same circumstance. To think that the Commanders could not be a 10 or 11 win football team.
But then
I didn't say that they couldn't. I said they'd be a 10-win
I'll
team
say
this
this
year.
both. I'm going to spray you like cats.
Yeah, go on.
God. If you think the Eagles are better than the Commanders, Connor,
I do.
Do you?
they do
Yeah,
play each
absolutely.
other twice in the last 3 weeks.
Yes.
And you said you'd pick the Eagles every time.
And
Yes.
if it's going to be close at that point of the season, then you should pick the Eagles in both those games, and that means they have head-to-head.
then that
that means
means-
they have 2 more wins than they do, and that's it.
You so you think the Commanders, the only way they would lose then would be you think going into the Eagles game on December 20th, you would think that the Commanders could beat the Eagles and win the division. You're saying you could see a scenario where the Commanders are 3 games ahead of the Eagles going into that game on December 20th.
No, I don't think they will be. Like,
Well,
I don't listen. I don't think the Commanders are going to win the division. But you not being remotely afraid of them
I'm
is
not.
flippant.
No, it's not.
I'm with John, dude.
I'm not
Then it's
remotely
flipping on both of your
no.
parts.
Now look, if the things that you don't predict, we don't predict injuries. Now, if teams get ravaged by injury, I will gladly revisit my position. If we get a bunch of people out, if there's major destructive injury, we can discuss it. The Commanders don't have. I don't think they have 4 guys.
Yeah, but people
Let's start.
are looking at this right now and saying there's a lot of season left. And if we want to wrap up the division first, it might be better that Green Bay wins.
I'm telling you, we live in a city where people do not want to accept that the Eagles are who they are. we live in a fan base. We have a fan base. We have a city. We have it too much ingrained in us where it's you finally got a franchise that gives you a bully on the block, that gives you one of the greatest teams in all of pro sports. And we got people who want to, yeah, well, you know, the Commanders look good and Jaden Daniels looks good and want to suck their thumbs. I don't get it. I do not get it. I waited my whole damn life to have a team like this, and I refuse to be scared of it. I refuse. Embrace it. I'm not scared of the Commanders. Not in the least. Not in the least.
MBD checks in on our YouTube chat saying the oldest team in the league, the Commanders, and I get to play them twice at the end of the year. Yes, please. So he would like the Packers to lose tonight, Commanders to win, because toward the end of the season, the oldest team in the league might be dealing with stuff.
And if somebody tells me, like Connor did, that the Eagles are the better team, and they would pick the Eagles, and I'm quoting Connor, every time against the Commanders head-to-head, the only way, then, the Commanders could win the division is if they were up by 3 games going into the game on December 20th. So unless you see that boogeyman scenario happening, they're not winning the division. So that's the only way that could happen. So just put it that way. That's what you're saying to me. That's what you believe. I don't believe it.
Dallas Goddard. That's all right. Dallas Goddard on the injury list yesterday did not participate in practice with a knee injury.
That was some other good intel that we had.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully he's good to go Sunday. We're not obviously entirely sure. We'll find out as the week continues.
Again.
Not a good look. It's a shame because we know how talented he is, and we saw his impact on the field in Thursday night's game. This is why I go back to questioning why the Eagles did not draft the tight end. You know how I feel about Dallas Goddard. I'm a big Dallas Goddard fan.
I think everybody who's an Eagles fan should be
a absolutely
Goddard fan.
And then when they did not draft the tight end in April's draft, remember, that's when I then dropped the line to you and Andrew DeCecco that I would be borderline devastated if he was not on the team. And fortunately, they restructured his contract in May, so about a couple weeks after the draft ended. But when they did not draft the tight end, despite Dallas Goddard and the looming potential restructuring of a contract, I did not understand not drafting a tight end because this Eagles franchise has shown you time and time again that they draft the tight end maybe a year or two before they move on from the next guy. Selleck to Ertz, Ertz to Goddard. We're waiting for the replacement to Dallas Goddard. And they didn't do it again. And I question that decision. There's very little things that you can question Howie Roseman with at this point because he's been just on fire with his decisions. But that was one of those where I go, all right, you didn't draft his eventual replacement. I didn't need it to be Dallas Goddard was gone and rookie tight end is here this season as your tight end 1. I would just like somebody to be maybe tight end 2 for a year, and then they are eventually the starting tight end when Dallas Goddard is no longer with the Eagles. Now you're going to have to go into 2026 potentially with a rookie tight end replacing Dallas Goddard.
And if anybody doesn't respect or want Dallas Goddard part of the team's great.
Hell yeah.
But you just got to plan every year for dealing for like a third of the schedule. Quarter of the schedule where you're not going to have him. And that's just a problem. That's a problem.
Just saw a YouTube chat comment that I love from Mopar. Dear Lord, our God, I agree with John. Somebody help me. Somebody help me.
Mopar, take the boat out. You just need a cleansing of your brain today.
Coming up next, I was listening to our buddy Ray Dunn yesterday, Johnny.
We always listen to Ray.
But then I was reminded, Andy Reid. Then I saw something you emailed me last night. We are barely talking about the opposing head coach. Is that right or wrong? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The outfield steps up. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies smoked the Mets again last night. An 11-3 final that gives them their 3rd straight victory over New York, and the outfield stepped up huge in this one. Harrison Bader, Brandon Marsh, Max Kepler combined for 8 hits, 5 runs scored, and 7 RBIs. 5 of those RBIs coming from Kepler, who Rob Thompson talked about after the game.
I think he's getting the ball up in the air. He's pulling the ball when he needs to. He's hitting the ball the other way when he needs to, and he's got his confidence. So a lot of times when a guy goes to a new team, it puts a little more pressure on himself than he probably should, but he's in a really good spot right now.
Christopher Sanchez was also great in the game last night. 6 innings, 1 earned, and the Phillies now have a lead of 10 games in the NL East with only 16 more to play. Looking pretty darn good. They can add to that in Game 4 against the Mets tonight. 7:15 first pitch. Jesus Luzardo versus David Peterson. Eagles had a bit of a surprise on their first injury report of the week. Dallas Goddard did not practice with a knee injury. Tanner McKee and Will Shipley were also out. Landon Dickerson and Jaylen Hunt were limited. We'll keep you updated with that ahead of Sunday. Big matchup tonight on Thursday Night Football. Commanders versus Packers, and Amy Trask of CBS Sports will join us coming up at 8:25. This update's brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles. They let you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him 1 game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making. For anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship / spitting / conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game.
Your momentarily. You know what? Hit me with a text message now.
Hit me with the text message.
Hit me with a text message. And then we're going to get into a conversation about Andy Reid, Big Red, because Ray Dunn had an interesting conversation yesterday or discussion on his show. And then John sent me an email, and I was like, yeah, is this right or wrong, though? What do we got?
Now, was Ray talking about this, too? You can tease us with
Yes,
it. Good.
was.
Okay, good.
All right, so we have people on both sides of this argument with the Commanders and Packers.
Okay.
This texter says, I'm with Connor. I'd rather the Packers win, wrap up the division, and guarantee a home game as the division winners rather than worry about what the Packers are doing. It's way too early to worry about one-seed implications.
What if I can guarantee 2 home games?
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be great.
like I don't understand. I don't understand.
We do
Okay.
remember that the Lions, like, they got beat because they were destroyed with injuries, and if they didn't have all those injuries, the NFC Championship game would have been in Detroit. We remember that, right?
And again, what somebody is telling me with that logic, you're saying, I'm concerned the Commanders could be up by 3 games. They could be up by 3 games on us in late December. And if you see that, you don't believe in the Eagles. Like, you don't believe they're that good a team.
Or you think the Commanders are a
Or you think
juggernaut.
the Commanders are going to be like a 14-2 type of team.
Right.
Because how bad do you think the Eagles are going to be with, let's see, math, 14 games, 14 games. Where will the Eagles' worst case scenario be after 14 games? 9-5, worst case scenario?
Yeah, worst case.
Yeah.
9-5. So you're telling me at that point, somebody's telling me they think that the Commanders are going to be 13-2.
Or
That's
that
what you're telling me.
Or that the Commander, listen, the whole I'll take the Commanders every time in a matchup with the Eagles might not be the prevailing opinion. We had someone already talk about Commanders-Eagles split. So if they think they're going to split those games, it's not up by 3 games.
Sure. Look,
Oh, that's good. I mean, I just I don't know.
I think the Commanders are a good team.
I think they're a good team.
I don't think they're going to be some 12-win, 13-win team.
I would love people to just tell me what they're seeing with the Commanders. They play literally like the same schedule.
Yeah, I think there's 2 teams that are different.
And if you say, like, Connor, like your point of view about, well, they play them at different times. I don't even know what that means.
What do you mean?
I don't know what it means. It could be work in the Eagles' favor when they play them.
It could, or it could work in the Commanders' favor. The point is, there's
But then we're just talking about mythological things that
no,
aren't
no, we're
worth.
not. We're talking about different scenarios that could happen because you're talking uncertainties, and there are a lot of things that could change from Week 1 being done to where this ends up.
Okay, I'll talk about a certainty. The certainty is the Eagles' roster is so much better than the Commanders. It's not close.
Yeah, I agree. How many Eagles rosters have we seen not be the better team in the division and not win the division? It's happened before. It happens every year in the divisions across NFL.
Connie Commanders.
Man, I'll tell
I'm
you.
not Connie Commanders.
I'm telling
I think
you,
the Eagles are better.
saying.
I gotta tell you, you
sound like a Connie.
I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know where it's coming from.
Let's remember, the last time this division had a repeat winner, too, was when?
I
don't care.
That stat doesn't.
I don't care. It ends.
There are
It
things
ends this year.
correct, and there are things to that stat. There are catastrophic injuries that lead to that stat. There are reasons to that stat.
And nobody's basing their opinion off of potential catastrophic injuries.
Right? We can't do that. That
All right.
could happen.
Eagles play the Chiefs on Sunday. We'll obviously continue that conversation. Tonight's game, Packers-Commanders. Who do you believe would benefit the Eagles better by winning tonight? John and I both think the Commanders winning benefits the Eagles more because we're looking more 1-seed, 2-seed, big picture. Now, again, you and I think less of the Commanders than a lot of people do.
And I think they are a 10-win, maybe 11-win team. That's what I think they are.
So we'll continue that conversation. We got the Phillies discussion as well at 610-632-0975. But here's another one to bring to your attention. So I was listening to Ray Dunn yesterday, and Ray took a moment to celebrate what Andy Reid did for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I thought that was very big of Ray Dunn to do. And then you sent me an email pretty much with the exact same mindset of, yeah, look, they didn't win, but Andy Reid is a big reason why we are seeing the Eagles today. So Ray went through the list of things, right?
Okay, what was it?
He was the one that suggested Doug Peterson to the Philadelphia Eagles, who obviously won the first Super Bowl in franchise history. That's beside the 15 years of success that Andy Reid had in the city of Philadelphia with the numerous NFC Championship game appearances, the great seasons that we saw, 10-plus win seasons that we saw.
The factory reset that was needed after Chip Kelly.
Absolutely. You get Doug Peterson based off of the suggestion of Andy Reid. Howie Roseman was a product of Andy Reid. That's a big part of it.
Howie has been very complimentary over the years of learning from Andy and learning with Andy.
The belief in the trenches was an Andy Reid and Joe Banner thing. Obviously, Andy Reid a part of it. The Eagles still believe in building through the trenches. So there are a lot of things right now with the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles where you can still see the impact made by Andy Reid and how he goes about business. Now, look, some things that the Eagles do that Andy Reid still does not do is get wide receivers, right? Like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith are here. They would not have been here if Andy Reid was still around because he'd think he'd be able to win with a bag of goods or not so good goods. But, look, it's interesting that we're not talking about it this time around.
Isn't it surprising?
No, because the Eagles beat them. And, John?
So you think that at that point when they beat him, it sort of was like,
all right, it's done. Now, look, I still celebrate Andy Reid. I'm a big Andy Reid fan.
We're big Andy fans.
But it's kind of like the Kelly Green jersey thing. The reason why I didn't get all that excited about Kelly Green coming back was because they didn't win. There was nothing about Kelly Green other than it looking cool that really did anything for me. My childhood memories of Donovan McNabb and that Eagles group with Brian Dawkins and Brian Westbrook and players that I adore, players that I love, they don't stand up to what I've seen in the last 8 years of my life. They didn't win.
No, they didn't.
And so now that the Eagles have won 2 Super Bowls and one of them was beating Andy Reid, I know it hurt a lot of people when Andy beat the Eagles. I get it. It hurt me too. But now that we saw the Eagles beat Andy Reid, it's almost like he's become, unfortunately, a distant memory.
It's weird because as I was bringing this up with you guys last night, I was just trying to say, it does seem strange that because every other Eagles matchup with Andy Reid, we've talked a lot about Andy Reid. This week, we've hardly touched on it. And it feels like, okay, almost like we slayed a dragon. We cleansed a timeline. We came up with something on Andy. And I really admire it. I sort of admire it that we moved on from it. But I wonder does this officially make him sort of like the enemy now? Because I've never looked at Andy Reid as the enemy.
I don't look at him
I
as
don't think we ever
enemy.
will.
Like, I've never looked at him as the enemy.
Well, unless they keep on facing each other in the Super Bowl.
And by the way, I tend to root for Andy, like when the Eagles aren't playing him.
Yeah.
I sort of want Andy to have success.
Yeah, because of the fond memories you had. Now, JM checks in on YouTube. I just want to clarify. He said McNabb wasn't Kelly Green. That's not what I was saying. What I'm saying is bringing back things from times where they didn't win. So, like the Sixers uniforms come back.
It does nothing for me.
But because the Sixers have not won since, I'm fine. I'm like, all right, this is nostalgic. Now, obviously, this is nostalgic for me and my fellow Sixers fans in their 30s, late 20s, whatever. But, like, the Sixers have not won anything since. So it's not like they're bringing back from a time where they were losing after winning championships. The Eagles bringing things back after they've won 2 Super Bowls, like Midnight Green is the green that I care about.
Midnight Green is the winning green. Midnight Green is like is when this franchise became legitimate.
Looking at Andy Reid, it's different now.
Andy Reid is the one who made this franchise legitimate.
Right.
And I don't believe Super Bowl 39 we know doesn't happen without him. Super Bowl 57 doesn't happen without him. Super Bowl 59 doesn't happen without him. I mean, Andy was everything to this team.
So I celebrate him, but now that you beat him,
Super Bowl 52 doesn't happen without him.
Right. But now that you beat him,
it's almost like he's an afterthought now.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a great thing.
Well, that means things have gone well for us. It absolutely is.
Will Nick Sirianni be the new Andy?
Well, he's already
got
won.
a chance to, yeah.
You could say he's already been more than Andy. All right, coming up next, Sanity Week continues to be a success when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies and a lot of my fellow Phillies fans. The Phillies look to sweep the Mets today, Johnny. How are the Phillies being viewed by other front offices? Because Jason Stark gave an amazing answer on that yesterday. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philly fans, you are the best.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making. For anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship/spitting/conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Unfiltered yesterday with Bill Colarulo and Amy Fadul, who's in for Ricky this week. Silvana Kelleher as well. So, Connor, I want to play this for you guys because it's something that's been talked about for a while. It's amazing. At the beginning of the season, now, obviously, we were trying to be beacons of light. There were a lot of people that would point the flaws of the Phillies, which we all do. It's part of the gig. It's part of following a team so closely, regardless of how you feel about them. But the national media loved the Phillies, right? Remember, every power ranking, they were in the top 5. And we would always say, hey, maybe we're too close to it because people on the outside still look at this team as a top 5 baseball team. Now, that's media people. What about actual executives around Major League Baseball? Yesterday on Unfiltered, Jason Stark talked about an executive in the National League. Obviously, will not tell you which team or who it is. But here was Jason Stark talking about how one person and many people view the Phillies.
When he looks at the Mets, he sees a team that isn't that different from his team or any of these teams in this pack. But when he looks at the Phillies, he sees a team that runs a starting pitcher out there every night, or just about every night, that's better than his team's pitcher and better than most teams' pitcher. And that's still true even without Zach Wheeler, which really opened my eyes. He said he told the other guys in his front office, he said, you know what, I think we've got a nice team. But when I look at that team, that's the varsity, and the rest of us are the JV. And again, these are really striking statements to hear because I know people in Philadelphia, anytime the Phillies lose a series, don't hit, they get all those flashbacks, all those nightmares from those playoff series that went all wrong. But it's not how teams on the outside look at the Phillies. And the other thing is the numbers bear that out. The Phillies have won more series against teams with winning records than any other team in baseball.
Now, and go ahead.
That's exactly why. That point right there, the last statement, is exactly why I thought the Mets vitriol was nonsense. They're the best team in baseball against great teams. Period. Like that, I think that just sums it up.
Sure. Now, when Jason brings up, look, anytime they have a bad game, we get flashbacks. Like, totally fair. I think those flashbacks are fair. I mean,
it's completely fair.
They have been painful. Those are painful flashbacks.
Last year's Mets series was so bad. It was so bad, and that easily could have been a sweep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That
if Nick Castellanos wasn't Superman for a game.
Correct. That easily could have been a sweep. And it was so bad.
Yeah.
And but the Phillies have been the best team in baseball against the best teams. So everybody who's going to October, the team they should fear the most is the Phillies.
Now, I would not call the Dodgers JV.
No.
I would consider them also I consider them a rival varsity team.
Oh, I do too.
I would not look at them as a JV squad, but I understand if somebody is saying that about the Cubs, right? Like the Cubs don't have the pitching. You know how I've felt about the Brewers. Like great regular season team. We'll see what they do come playoff time. I just don't buy it all that much. It's kind of like the Cleveland Cavaliers of last year in the playoffs for the NBA.
One note on the Brewers. You're 2.5 games behind the Brewers. Today is the game in hand. So today you'll take care of that game in hand. One note with the Brewers, though. You must beat the Brewers. You can't have the same record as them. The Brewers won the season series.
Okay.
So you've got to.
So they technically have a game lead on you regardless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you must beat them in record-wise. So you're not, even though you're 2.5 games back, that's just for the tie. You've got to beat them out.
Which, by the way, very possible. Just looking ahead, the Brewers have three with the Cardinals.
Right.
3 with the Angels, which they should win that series. Remember when the Angels were buyers at the deadline? I told you they were the dumbest organization. 3 in St. Louis, but their last 6 games. So the Phillies' last 6 games, as we know, it's what? The Marlins and Twins, okay?
6-game homestand with the Marlins and the Twins.
The Brewers, 3 on the road, 3 at home. The 3 on the road are against San Diego, who will still be fighting for something, either seeding or maybe the division still. That's still a possibility. They're not far back of the Dodgers.
They could still be right there in the division. That's not outlandish. They're 3 games back of the Dodgers.
Yeah, and then 3 at home against the Reds, who knows? At that point, they could still be fighting for a wild card spot. I know they've been sputtering a little bit as of late, but there could be a chance that the Reds are still fighting for some sort of wild card spot.
The Reds are 2 games out of the playoffs right now.
Right, exactly.
They're
so
2
their
games
last
back.
6 games are against 2 teams that are going to be probably playing for something, whereas the Phillies are playing 2 teams that are golfing.
Especially if the Mets continue to.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be really nice. All right, what do we got on the text line?
All right, so hang on. We got a bunch of people just saying Stark, but we also have a bunch of people checking in on our conversations. This texter is with you guys on the Commanders-Packers conversation.
Connor, the Commanders. They're now the Commanders because of your support.
You guys are the ones rooting for them to win tonight, so I don't know if you can throw that on me right now. But anyway, this texter says, I'm with John and Andrew. We will win the division. I want to win the conference. We have a potential head-on collision to play the Green Bay Packers in this year's conference championship, so I'd rather have that be at the link.
It's second-level thinking, as our old buddy Mikey Miss would say.
And you want to make sure they have that loss, too, because you don't want – if you go to Lambeau and you should lose that game, they would hold that half-game edge on you. So you want to make sure that you go into Lambeau with a little bit of an edge that potentially can be made up later on.
Yeah, and look, you have the opportunity for them to get handed an NFC loss.
Yes.
And I know the Commanders. I know there's a lot of people that fear the Commanders.
The Commanders.
I don't feel that fear. I just don't. And so I would like for the Commanders to go into Lambeau, upset the Packers, and the Packers get that first loss. And I know that even though the Commanders would be 2-0, at some point the Eagles would be able to beat the Commanders later on in the season.
Yes, that'd be a good one.
All right.
Don't know that I see it happening, but be good.
It would be great.
We'll see it.
Coming up next, we get back to our text messages. So we'll get some more of those. But also, I have a Phillies lineup question to discuss with John Kincade and Mr. Locked On Phillies podcast, Connor Thomas. After what we saw yesterday, when Trey Turner comes back, what do we do? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils take down the Mets again. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Wendy's. Their breakfast 2 for $3 biggie bundles let you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. Phillies smoked the Mets again last night, an 11-3 final. It gives them their 3rd straight victory over those Mets. Christopher Sanchez, 6 innings, 1 earned, and the Phils outfield provided a huge jump for the offense. Bader, Marsh, and Kepler combined for 8 hits, 5 runs scored, and 7 RBIs. 5 of those RBIs being Kepler's, who Rob Thompson talked about after the game.
I think he's getting the ball up in the air. He's pulling the ball when he needs to. He's hitting the ball the other way when he needs to, and he's got his confidence. So a lot of times when a guy goes to a new team, it puts a little more pressure on himself than he probably should, but he's in a really good spot right now.
Phils are now 10 games up on the Mets. They'll play again tonight at 7:15. Jesus Luzardo faces David Peterson. The Eagles had a bit of a surprise on their first injury report. Dallas Goddard did not practice yesterday with a knee injury. Landon Dickerson and Jalix Hunt were limited, so we'll keep you updated on injury status ahead of the matchup with the Chiefs. Big matchup on Thursday Night Football with Commanders-Packers tonight. Amy Trask of CBS Sports joins us at 8:25. This update's also brought to you by Bet365. Football's back. Get ready for the season at Bet365. When it comes to sportsbooks, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making. For anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship / spitting / conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told
Vito come in with the Wendy's, which is always
good,
putting
right?
a smile on my face. Well, one of our great team members here at the station, Gabby,
Gab.
just brought in her 2-month-old kitten.
Wait a minute, whoa. That cat's not 2 months old.
2 months old. That's what she told us. Jack-o'-lantern is the kitten's name. Connor tried feeding it a French fry.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't know what cats eat.
But my first thing I said to John was, now how do you
Bring
look
Jack
at
in,
that?
yes.
Now how do you look at that adorable little kitten and hate that thing?
Well, first off, I'm allergic to cats.
Okay.
But this one is so little, I don't think I
you
would
little
be.
meow. I love you. Look at Jack-o'-lantern making the debut here on Kincade
It's
Salciunas.
beautiful.
Get that barking dog out of here.
Now, Nikki Foles will be smelling this later, I bet.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Hi, Jack.
See, now Jack Lantern could just hang out with us the rest of the show.
Jack's beautiful. What a beautiful cat.
I love
What a beautiful cat.
Look, I got Mr. Whiskers at home, so he's
Now, look, if you're going to get into the cat thing, is that with cats, and what my point is, and I'll tell you with cats, is that when I'm thinking about when you're out, then the cat, which poops in the litter box, then goes and walks all over your counters.
That's why
and
you just have endless supplies of Clorox wipes,
and the cooktop and the kitchen table and everywhere else.
That's why I wipe it down every day.
I mean, you'd have to go around and wipe down every single day before anything.
Every single day.
Go wipe down the whole house.
So I love our special guests, and I love our Wendy's. Thank you to Wendy's for another great meal on this Thursday morning. We still have 2 more $50 gift cards to give away, one in the 8 o'clock hour, one in the 9 o'clock hour. Speaking of the 8 o'clock hour, Amy Trask is going to be joining us coming up at 8:25. Former member of the front office of the Raiders, now covers the NFL on CBS. And look, I'm curious to get her opinion on some of the things the Eagles did this offseason, getting ready for their road to the repeat, because they did have to make some hard decisions by not re-signing players. Obviously, the trade of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So what goes into those decisions when they might be difficult, considering the last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl, Howie Roseman made a lot of decisions based off of emotion. And I think that negatively impacted the Eagles. But how does that go through the locker room? You name it. We'll talk to Amy coming up at 8:25. All right, question about the lineup. As you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. First and foremost, I want Trey Turner to still be the leadoff hitter when he returns back from his injury. But my follow-up is, do you move Harrison Bader back down to that 5th or 6th spot, or do you have him also toward the top of the lineup? Right now, the last time Trey Turner was in the lineup when they started doing the, Harrison Bader everyday player, Trey Turner was your leadoff hitter, and this was back in the Marlins series. Trey Turner was your leadoff hitter. Kyle Schwarber was your 2-hole hitter. Bryce Harper was your 3-hole hitter. JT Realmuto batted cleanup. Brandon Marsh batted 5th. Harrison Bader batted 6th. Kepler 7th. Bohm 8th. Stott 9th. Now, obviously, Bohm's on the injured list as well. When Trey Turner comes back, do you start to think about maybe keeping Harrison Bader up at that 2 spot? Or does that take away the Schwarber at-bats? Because I know everyone loves that stuff.
I don't know. I don't know how much messing you want to do, but Harrison Bader's just on an absolute tear.
Yeah.
I mean, he is on a tear of confidence, and you're feeling it. I don't want to mess with the top of the lineup, though. I'm glad to see what he's doing, but I don't want to mess.
So Bader staying 5 or 6, depending on the matchup.
Is that where the Locked On Phillies is going?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Harrison Bader is
no-brainer.
No-brainer, not even close.
Yeah, I'm not.
Can you explain why it's a no-brainer?
Because Trey Turner.
I don't like when you shoot things down. So tell me why it's a no-brainer.
Because Trey Turner is the overall best hitter in the National League this year from a contact standpoint. Bryce Harper is Bryce Harper, and Kyle Schwarber just hit his 50th home run. I'm not
touching one of them for Harrison Bader.
For Harrison Bader? I love Harrison Bader, what he brought to this team. He's not going to hit 400 the rest of the year.
I know he's not going to.
So he goes back to 6th or 7th or wherever, and you also need to, remember, balance out the bottom of the lineup that we were so upset about earlier this year.
Everybody moves down.
And then Bohm will be back.
Let's just say...
From the mystery spring break injury. Oh, I'm sorry. All-Star break injury.
This is something else.
Yeah.
It is.
It literally has nothing to do with that.
It has nothing to do with the All-Star break. I don't know why you're... This has nothing to do with it. Yep. If Turner's your leadoff hitter, Bader's your 2-hole hitter, and let's say it's Harper 3, Schwarber 4, everybody still moves down. Realmuto's now your 5-hole hitter. So, if we're talking about balancing the lineup, everybody moves down a spot. I'm not saying I have to do it. I just don't understand why it's you guys are so quick to just be like, no.
It's not even a thought in my head.
I wouldn't even give it a thought. Just the 3 names you just mentioned.
Good thing somebody's
thinking. 3 names you just mentioned. I can't do it. The 3 names that you just mentioned. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber. I can't do it. I can't. Harrison Bader, we're playing the Sesame Street game. One of these things is not like the other. You can't do it.
You get another guy on base for Schwarber to knock in. John Strayer does say when Turner returns, he wants it to be Turner, Bader, Schwarber, Harper.
How about I reserve the right to change my mind in 3 weeks. in 3 weeks.
Well, at least you're open to it
Because it's-
immediately
yeah.
you guys go, nah.
No, I wouldn't. No, because right name-wise, no. Because also, I don't expect the Harrison Bader experiment to go at this kind of clip.
No, I told
Because he's
John
never
this.
done this.
Jason Stark had a great clip. We just played you a Jason Stark clip last segment, but from the previous week when he was on with Unfiltered, he talked about Harrison Bader's ball in play batting average. Like it's like ridiculously well above the league average
It's
right
wild.
now.
Yeah, it's wild. They're on
And
a
that's not
wild
going to
streak.
continue. At some point, balls will find the mitt, right? Like it's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Like, I love Harrison Bader. We're in the honeymoon phase with him right now, and I hope he stays this hot forever. But let me ask you, do you feel like a team with Harrison Bader batting in the top 3? We talk about what a team looks like that's a World Series contender. I'd feel a lot better if the top 3 is Turner, Harper, Schwarber.
I'm just saying,
and
if
Bader's in
you're
that.
playing the hot hand, which right now he's the hot hand. And
Yeah,
we'll
but
see.
like hot hand does not outweigh 50 home runs, best overall hitter in the National League, Bryce freaking Harper. Doesn't even come close.
All right. What if Bryce Harper's not playing well? Which
He's
this
still Bryce Harper.
season he's not been.
Right, but he's still Bryce.
Okay.
He still gets that nod to bat too.
Okay. And if he's not getting on base in front of Schwarber, then what?
You live and die with that. We can't. We're not replacing Bryce Harper with Harrison Bader. This team is going to live and die with the top 3.
You're acting like I'm putting Bryce Harper on the bench. I'm putting Bryce Harper 4th.
I
like,
understand.
instead of batting 2, he's batting cleanup. Oh, no. We're batting him 9th. That's not what I'm saying.
I know, but
You're talking about replacing. I'm not
here's what's
replacing
happening.
anybody.
You're getting really caught up in the moment.
Yeah,
It's
and that's
not-
why I asked.
it's
The,
not
that's why I
gonna
asked the
happen.
question.
That's why I'm
worth
telling
it.
you it's not going to happen.
This is what I'm talking about with society. We should be able to have conversations.
We're having the conversation. And
Now
I'm
you
giving,
shot it down right away.
I would. Now, look, I reserve the right to change my mind, but I absolutely think it's extremely hard for me to think if all those guys are available to me. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not passing on.
You've been
those
pointing
three
out
being
Bryce
the guys.
Harper's issues this year.
Yeah, but I'm not moving him out of the top 3. I got to win and lose with the guy who's supposed to be, who
Right,
is supposed
okay.
to be the guy.
Again, you guys are acting like I'm moving him from 2 to 9. Like, what if there's a world where Trey Turner's still your leadoff hitter, as he should be, and then it's Bader, and then it's Schwarber and Harper, or then Harper and then Schwarber, whatever. And there's more guys on base. Because I'm a caveman. Whoa, my God, I can't believe it. A guy wants the power hitter to have more people on base
I
and
love
not
it.
bat
Look,
leadoff. Wow.
Look, I always loved it. I was shocked the other day when we
I thought Tim Kelly
on.
I,
and Tim
was like, yo, dude, why? Why?
I'm like, come on
what's-
now. Come on, you can't do that.
Well, they win a lot.
No,
okay?
you can't do that.
They've won
They're
a lot of games with Trey Turner.
They're the second best winningest team in baseball. I love Tim, too. And they're the second best winningest team in all of baseball.
Now, last year, they had the second best record in all of baseball going into the postseason with Kyle Schwarber batting leadoff.
Yeah, but his numbers are distinctly better this year.
I got you. The argument was winning, and if you're going to use second best team in baseball, they were that last year with the other guy.
But then all you got to do is just say the team's much better with him because he's better.
Well,
with this batting average,
you could argue they're the same, but his numbers are better, so you could have both work, and the Phillies have found something that they believe works better in this
they
instance.
wouldn't be the team, the second best winning team, unless he absolutely carried them on his back. You wouldn't be the second winningest team unless Kyle Schwarber literally carried this team on his back offensively. Because he had men on base when he was hitting his home runs this year, and he's blown away his RBI total.
That's been fun, hasn't it?
That's what it's done.
Hasn't it? Hasn't that been fun for people?
It's been fun to watch.
123
Yeah, but it's
RBI
fun to watch.
this year.
And a pitcher with a 1-0 lead. No. Sorry.
He has 19 more ribbies than the last 2 years. He had 104 in 2023 and 2024, and there's still games to be played. That's something, I get it, new age thinking and analytics and all that kind of crap. Call me a caveman. I don't care. I'll take it. It's fine. It's my belief. All right, coming up next, today's headlines with Connor Thomas, who did not even want to hear the conversation. It's a shame. We'll listen to him, though.
We just did 7 minutes on it.
Well, because I had to. But we'll listen to you. Don't you worry. Amy Trask will join us coming up at 8:25.
She's already awake. She's already tweeted.
Nice.
She's ready to go.
We have another $50 gift card to Wendy's giveaway in this hour. That all comes your way ahead here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Attention, Delaware Valley. 97.5 The Fanatics Unfiltered with Ricky Bowe and Bill.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making, for anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship/spitting/conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
I just.
What are you laughing at?
Well, I just refreshed my notifications and I saw one from our buddy Brendan Gunn about a tweet of yours from last night.
Damn autocorrect.
So John,
I don't think you need to share that with people.
No?
No,
You wanna
I don't think you need to share that. It's out there. If someone wants to see it, they can see it. But I don't think you need to repeat it.
right.
I don't think you'd be good to repeat that one. No. I think spare yourself from that one.
That was
Yes.
funny.
Yes.
No, we're sparing you from it then.
No, it's
I
there.
get to
No,
laugh
it's
at
there. If anyone wants to see it, you go see it. Brendan's thing is up there.
It sure is.
You go see it.
It sure is. That was a funny moment.
Where
during
there are
the
kids
Phillies
in the
game
car
yesterday.
going to school.
Ah, okay.
I think we are a different show than that.
No, the school's already in session.
No, there are kids going to school. Yeah, there are lots of parents taking kids to
Fine,
school.
9 o'clock.
At
we'll bring
8:12
it
in the morning. Yes.
up. 9.
There's still a
At
bunch of kids.
9:12, we'll bring it up.
We're doing the wacky morning zoo. Is that it?
God. Hey, you're the one that tweeted it.
It was an autocorrect, but yes, but it's still there. If anybody wants to see it, they can see it.
Got a
Check it
proofread.
out. Brendan Gunn's a very good thing. If I could have my readers on at all times, I would.
All right, it's time
Believe
now
me.
for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
Oh, by the way, since when has it ever stopped you from saying something?
All right.
Kids
Not
going
like
to
that.
school.
No, get out of here.
All right, let's talk about
Never
Lundy
said
Law
anything
first.
like that.
Hang on. We got a sponsor. You guys can settle this later.
Yes.
For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Now, we had a retirement in the sport of baseball yesterday, and man, does it make me feel old, because when I hear this name, I think about this situation.
How well do you handle?
Oh, that's the wrong cut. I think about the 2016 World Series, where the final out was made by a combination of Chris Bryant and this man.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. But the Cubs win the World Series.
And the man who caught that ball and put it in his back pocket was Anthony Rizzo, who hung it up yesterday. He is done playing baseball. Your thoughts on him?
I was shocked when I got the alert. Even though I know what he's been battling in the back and all that kind of stuff.
It's been a shame because he was.
I was surprised.
He was a great face, not like the face of the league, but he was a great face of the league. He was one of those guys that had a good personality. He was funny. After you remember during the spring training game, he was mic'd up, batting. Oh, they only do that obviously during spring training. He's batting, and he said to the people, "Somebody bang a trash can for me," like. Because it was right after the Astros scandal. Like, I like Anthony Rizzo. His time in New York obviously was not good. But trivia question for you. Who made the final out in that World Series that you just heard?
I don't know.
I don't remember either.
How about Michael Martinez?
Oh, really?
Former Philly.
After the rain delay.
Former Philly, and then Lancaster Barnstormer great, Michael Martinez. I don't know how you can end your season with Michael Martinez. It's like ending your season with Jake Cave batting.
Why do you fill your brain with the information that Michael Martinez played for the Lancaster Barnstormers?
Because I'm a sportsman.
I just feel like there's better stuff that could be rattling around.
You mean to tell me you've never Googled, like, where's this person at now? And then you stumble upon them playing for the Lancaster Barnstormers?
That's really interesting, though, is that because that is something that is that's pushed something else out of his brain.
Yeah, exactly. He lost algebra because of that.
Something is not.
I never gained algebra. Nothing was pushed out. All right, that was never there.
All right, we'll move on to this because a wild story here. A guy was arrested for not paying a casino debt. And the way they caught him was pretty easy because it was on a cruise ship. So this guy, Jay Gonzalez Diaz, was on a Royal Caribbean cruise,
Yes.
and he owed about $17,000 in gambling debt to the on-cruise casino. So he jumped off the boat. He just clear on airmailed it off the cruise ship, and they caught him trying to swim to shore.
All right, first off, how far from shore was it?
They couldn't have been too far.
Because I was going to say, first off, like I would be concerned if this guy's literally trying to end his life.
Yeah, some jet skis found him and brought him back. No, he was trying to escape. Like he was
All right, so
trying
he
to-
was not trying to end his life. He was actually just trying to escape.
Yeah, they must have been by port
Because those
somewhere.
jumps off of those boats are dangerous.
I'm surprised. Well, they had to be like 5 stories, 6 stories?
Yeah,
Minimum?
I think minimum. Yeah, I think it's minimum. You're that high up off.
I mean,
the
that's
ground.
a lot, even if you jump from the lowest spot.
Right.
And
Yeah,
you're
but-
hitting that's nasty.
He owed some money and he tried to get.
I got to understand how.
17,000.
And he had to get a line of credit
I would guess. Yeah.
to be able to bet that much. Wow. By the way, don't bet on my wife's father ran a casino, the first casino in Jamaica, and don't bet in casinos on open water. Do not bet in casinos on foreign soil. Is all I will tell you. Just don't do it. It's not. You're not betting in American casinos. It's not the same. Let's just say there's not the same regulation that goes on.
Same rate of winning.
Let's just say that there's not the same. So be careful, especially if you go to Jamaica. Be very careful in casinos. Good point. Little hint.
All right. Fair enough. We'll round out with our replay, which you already heard a second of earlier.
How well do you handle saying maybe I was wrong? Or how well do you give somebody credit that you don't feel a certain type of way about?
Now, it's a great question. And speaking of giving people credit, the easiest way to go about this type of stuff, in my experience, is just not being wrong in the first place about Brandon Marsh and Max Kepler.
Captivated.
Vindication, boys. And I don't know. Maybe I would like a second of, hey, Connor, you believed in these guys back when nobody else did, and you're being proven correct.
But you weren't right at the time. You absolutely. No, you weren't. They were terrible at the time, and you wouldn't admit it.
Oh, no. I said it about both those guys. They're not playing good baseball right now. But if there's one guy on these airwaves that stuck by Brandon Marsh, who's been great for this team.
You absolutely stood by Brandon Marsh. You absolutely did. There's not even a question.
And that's proof right there why it's hard for people to move off their opinion, because clearly I had trouble too.
But can I ask you, have I not said Brandon Marsh is a 10-year Major League Baseball player? I just think he may not be a World Series champion.
And I thought he's
by the way,
platoon guy.
Center fielder was the big talking point.
And he's not great.
And he's playing left field.
Right.
So I think that's a big, hey, credit to Andrew Salciunas before you play your Vindicated song there, Captain. It's the Locked On Phillies podcast.
Oh, come on. Don't you try and steal an iota of Brandon Marsh credit from me.
I know you're going to share the news now or not. Or can I break the news, Connor? Or not?
What
Connor's
news?
career news.
What?
Connor, this morning, taking over the Locked On Commanders podcast. It's the Commanders podcast.
You guys are the ones rooting for them to win tonight.
We are. Because we're not scared of the Commanders.
That's a good point. The
Commanders.
You got them.
It's the Locked On Commanders.
You got him good, man.
All right, somebody on Photoshop. Come on, Tristan. I need Connor in full Commanders gear. Locked On Commanders.
I'm rooting for them to lose tonight.
I know you are.
Coming up next, what does a former member of an NFL team front office think about the Eagles offseason as they tried to repeat? Amy Trask will answer those questions.
The Princess of Darkness.
That's a great nickname. I love it. She joins us next year on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A big night for Kepler. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Wendy's. Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. The Phillies took down the Mets again last night, an 11-3 final, their third straight victory over New York, and Max Kepler was huge in this one, a 5 RBI night for him. And it's been a rough season for a lot of it for Kepler, but Rob Thompson talked about what he's been seeing lately.
I think he's getting the ball up in the air. He's pulling the ball when he needs to. He's hitting the ball the other way when he needs to, and he's got his confidence. So a lot of times when a guy goes to a new team, it puts a little more pressure on himself than he probably should, but he's in a really good spot right now.
Bader and Marsh also contributed to a strong outfield night, and Christopher Sanchez went 6 innings, 1 earned. The lead in the NL East is up to 10 games now. The Phils can add to that in Game 4, 7:15 tonight against the Mets. Jesus Luzardo versus David Peterson. The Eagles got a bit of a surprise on the injury report, first injury report of the week. Dallas Goddard did not practice with a knee injury yesterday. We'll keep you updated on his status for Sunday. Landon Dickerson and Jaylen Hunt were limited. Big matchup tonight on Thursday Night Football. Commanders at Packers. Amy Trask, who covers the NFL for CBS Sports, joins us next. This update's also brought to us by King's Hawaiian Sliders. Eli Manning reminds you there's nothing like football in King's Hawaiian Sliders. King's Hawaiian Sliders make you a winner on game day. Pick them up this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
Previously on
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jalen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jalen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making, for anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship/spitting/conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting.
Does this help you move forward with what's next? She does such a tremendous job covering the NFL for CBS Sports. And no, we will not boo her.
No, she was booed here once.
At least for the next 9 minutes, we will not boo her.
She'd be okay
John.
with it, though. She can handle it. She's the princess of darkness.
That's Amy Trask. Amy, good morning. How you doing today?
That's right. You can go ahead and boo me if you want. I got used to that in Philadelphia and a lot of places. So go ahead and boo if you want. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for
Good
coming
morning,
on.
Aim.
So obviously we've been talking about the Eagles like every single day since they won the Super Bowl because it's a celebratory time here in Philadelphia. One of my first questions for you, Amy, how difficult is it for a front office after having a successful season in this way, so successful that you won the Super Bowl, to make some tough decisions during the offseason? The last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl, Howie Roseman made a lot of thank you contracts, kept a lot of players that helped win the Super Bowl, and I think that was a bit of a mistake, but I understand why it would be difficult to move on from those kinds of players. So could you give us some insight on that?
Well, you're absolutely right. It is very difficult. These are the men that helped you do what every team strives to do every season. And it's always hard. I shouldn't say always, but most often, the disproportionate amount of time, it's extremely hard to cut any player, no matter the circumstance. But the circumstance you just described makes it particularly difficult.
I don't understand how teams are looking at it right now. We keep reading the stuff this week, and it's like, yeah, it's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, though. They're talking about the Eagles and this matchup, and we're still hearing that, yeah, but it's Patrick and Andy. That, how can you pick against them? We heard that all leading up to the Super Bowl, Amy, and it was one of the most prolific beatdowns in the modern era that we've seen. Why do people stick to that narrative when they've already seen what the Eagles are?
I think people generally in life as a whole, not simply in sports, often stick to narratives. But we don't need to go into the whole life narrative situation, of course.
Sure.
Look, Andy is a tremendous, tremendous head coach. Patrick is a tremendous, tremendous quarterback. That doesn't mean there aren't other phenomenal head coaches and phenomenal quarterbacks. And Philadelphia got the job done and earned that Super Bowl win. And by the way, my hunch is everything you just described, they used within that locker room as motivation. A lot of people listening aren't old enough to remember the Brady Bunch or the Brady Bunch when they said, Marsha, 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 because all they were doing was talking about Marsha Brady. Well, I'm sure that the Eagles got sick of the equivalent of Marsha, 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 which was Andy, 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 Patrick, 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 and I'm sure they used that for motivation.
Amy Trask from CBS Sports joins us here on Kincade and Salciunas.
By the way, excuse me for interrupting, but I would like to know that I'm going to go down in history as the only guest you've had on who has quoted the Brady Bunch when talking about the Super Bowl.
I think that will be
safe.
it. Yeah, I think that's safe.
Yeah, I don't think Schefter has not done that.
Yeah, he is not.
Yeah, Kevin DeGandhi doesn't do that.
And if anybody does it now, it's unoriginal.
Yeah, then they'd be copying
you. You were the first one to do it.
That's right.
Amy, so I'm sorry to keep on bringing up Howie Roseman, but he's so good at what he's doing right now. He's on such a heater. Howie Roseman did something that I think a lot of people sometimes miss. He went ahead of the curve. Defenses have gotten smaller and faster, so he said, okay, let's get a ground game going. Talk about how difficult that might be, trying to either do something different, or a lot of teams go, wait, we have to throw to win, so we're going to build offenses that way. When it comes to building a roster, would you rather try to go with what everybody else is doing, or try to be the person that says, let me try to combat with that with something else?
Well, I'm going to answer that in three ways. First and foremost, you're absolutely right about Howie. He does a tremendous job. But I'm also going to credit Jeff Lurie, because when you are the owner, you have ultimate responsibility and ultimate authority, and you can certainly delegate that responsibility and delegate that authority, and he has done so. He picked someone magnificent to whom to give that authority and responsibility. But at the end of the day, the owner is the owner, so credit to Jeff Lurie as well. Number two, you are talking to the girl who has always and forever been an advocate and a proponent of the run game. Last year when I heard people saying, a rejuvenation of the run game, my brain almost exploded because I have never given up on the running game. Look, football is 11 on 11. That's math, and that's math that even I can do, and I suck at doing math. But if you've got a solid, good, and in the case of the Eagles, tremendous running game, well, guess what? It's going to take defenders on the other team to slow that down, and by definition, that's going to make your quarterback's job easier, your receiver's jobs easier, because if you've got to put attention on a running game, which Eagle opponents did, you're freeing up other people. So I love what he did. I mean, that you were able to, and I'm saying you because you're Philadelphians, go out and get the back of the quality you did from a divisional opponent is, well, I'll use my mom's word, wowie.
Yeah. I can tell you that one of the things that we talked about all offseason was the fact that Nick Sirianni said, okay, last year's last year. We've turned the page. We're not talking about last year. He claimed that he didn't even know it was banner night against the Dallas Cowboys, and we knew that was BS. What do you think about that?
Okay, yeah, I don't buy that.
Yeah, and what do you think about that idea, though, Amy, that not acknowledging last year? I sort of love the swagger, and watching the Chiefs documentary, they seemed to really embrace being the bullies on the block, being the defending champions, being the ones that everybody has a target on their back, whereas the Eagles are sort of saying, well, that was last year, we're not even talking about it. How do you feel about that?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I don't buy that he didn't know it was banner night. Right. Everyone in the organization knew it was banner night. And I'm saying that in good fun and good spirit. He's a tremendous, tremendous coach. I do not intend that as any sort of a slight. Of course he knew it was banner night. I do like the idea of saying, you know what? We won it all last year, but the slate is clean this year, and we are starting over, because that's the way the NFL is designed. The league is designed on the concept of parity, that in any given season, every fan of every team believes their team can win. So now he's looking at it that way and saying, great, we won it all last year. That was last year. Now we've got to focus on winning again this year. I think that's smart.
Amy, listen, we appreciate the time as always. It's already been 1 week in the NFL season. We're excited for it. We'll be bugging you down the road even more because we always love having you on.
She gets up early in California. When she sends pictures of her beach view, it gets me a little annoyed.
But here's the deal. Even though you're in California, you do have Philadelphia in your heart, because this is a town that never wanted to go away from the ground game either.
No.
Well, I love that. I love joining you. Call me anytime you need that person at 5 a.m., and you can boo me whenever you want.
Sorry I missed your last trip, but next time, I promise.
Ice cream on me.
Hey, there you go.
You're
Thanks,
the best. Thank you, Amy. There's Amy Trask on the Comcast Business Hotline from CBS. She does such a fantastic job.
Amy, like you, likes to stay slim and works and everything like that, but she likes to have ice cream every day.
Oh, that's nice.
Every day. Like, loves ice cream.
By the way, those Reese's Oreo thing you tweeted out about, bro.
Are you telling me how good they were?
Oh, my God.
You know, I didn't buy them because they were $2.69. Yeah. I'm that cheap.
Worth it.
Really?
Worth it.
Okay, I may have to do that.
Dude,
as like you know what I do? I'll buy a pack and I'll save them for the Eagles-Chiefs game.
Okay. They were so
As like a little treat.
The Reese's Oreo match. Oh, my God, man. Fantastic.
And if Thad's listening, I'm not buying them.
All right, coming up next, I'm going to remind you guys of something that I hated Nick Sirianni saying last year. Jalen Hurts said it yesterday. I wonder what our reaction should be now. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Birds Insider Update on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles are preparing to take on the Chiefs in a Super Bowl rematch of 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. It's a big game, and the Birds have a lot of preparation to get ready for it. So Jalen Hurts was asked yesterday how they're going about preparing for the Chiefs.
It's just another opportunity for us. You know, that's been my approach on it. You know, we got a lot that we can learn from this past week. We know we're playing a really good team. It's a new team. But just approaching it with that mentality and just taking really a day at a time with our preparation.
And one day at a time should not be any surprise for anyone on how Jalen Hurts approaches things. But Nick Sirianni did talk. Even though the Chiefs are a new team this year, they're not necessarily new to the Eagles.
Since I've been here in 21, there's been 4 teams that we've played every year. And obviously that's the Giants, that's the Commanders, that's the Cowboys, and that's the Chiefs. We played them every single year. And so, yeah, you're constantly looking at those tapes, and you have a plan of what you do when you play a team.
So there's plenty of familiarity there, and we'll see how much that plays to the Eagles' favor. What might not play to their favor is Dallas Goddard not practicing yesterday with a knee injury. He was out on the first injury report of the week. Landon Dickerson and Jalix Hunt were limited, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that as the week progresses. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The summer's here.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making, for anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It suspends him, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship / spitting / conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right now, a little promotional video for Wendy's, because we love our friends at Wendy's. John and I are throwing the football back and forth. But then the great directing of Haley Taylor Simon, John then threw a Wendy's breakfast burrito at me.
And I know this. Working for Haley would be like working for Quentin Tarantino.
Oh yeah,
who
absolutely.
Supposedly can be like a absolutely crazy on the set.
Yeah,
Haley was, man, she's tough there.
But I go above and beyond with my acting.
You did
All right?
well.
By the way, it's not really acting when it's real life. I caught the burrito because I got great hands. And then I wasn't going to just not eat the burrito, so I took a big bite, but I took too big of a bite, and that's why I'm still chewing on my
Did a good job, though.
Wendy's breakfast burrito as we return from break. So, Connor, don't kill me.
That's okay. Hey, you sold it.
Yeah, hell yeah,
no,
we
he did. He did a really good
hell
job.
yeah, we
with
did.
it,
By the
though.
way, not much selling because Wendy's is delicious. By the way, we have a third $50 gift card to Wendy's to give away this morning so that you can get your Wendy's breakfast burrito or any of the delicious goodies that they have for you. All right, Jalen Hurts yesterday speaking to members of the media, as did Nick Sirianni, but there's not much from Nick Sirianni, especially on the Jalen Carter front. Still won't give any information. That all stays in-house. That's fine. But Jalen Hurts yesterday talked about something that I actually kind of vehemently despised Nick Sirianni saying last year. If you remember, a couple of weeks into the season, Nick Sirianni talked about not knowing the team's identity. And he said at one point, a lot of teams in the NFL don't know their identity until like midway through the season.
Oh, no, I hated it.
And I hated it because
I hated it too.
I thought I knew what the team's identity was, which was lead with the run. Turns out I was right. Turns out I was just right before the head coach. And turns out I needed the offensive linemen to use their access because I don't have that kind of access with Nick Sirianni. And again, credit to Nick Sirianni for listening to his players. That's something that a lot of coaches won't do. He listened, and so I give Nick Sirianni his flowers for that. I just can't believe it took that long, but whatever.
Can I tell you that I absolutely believe that you were still correct in the time? You were absolutely correct in the time.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
You were right.
It was ridiculous to not know what your identity was. Now, Jalen Hurts talked about just that yesterday. Take a listen.
It's the same approach. It comes as it comes, right? But you have to embrace, the process. You have to go throughout the process and just remain diligent in it. Have a calmness about yourself and be patient. Let all these things come to you. And I think as a quarterback, that's very important when you're talking about an identity because you got to go out there and just execute things and play the game and play the position. And so that goes a lot into being aligned with KP as there isn't really an identity as we try and establish that identity, I say, for better words, and just roll and play football, play team football.
So they're still trying to learn what their identity is. They're embracing trying to figure it out. So last year I hated it, right, when I heard Nick Sirianni say that. I don't hate it as much this year. And part of that goes back to what I said before the season started. I don't know what this offense will look like, and I was excited for that. Remember when Jalen Hurts said it a couple weeks ago? We don't know who we are just yet. I was okay with that.
No, you're okay with that.
Because I'm expecting a lot of defenses to try to stop the run, right? Like, that's what I think a lot of defenses will try to do this year.
They don't want to be Saquon to make they look foolish.
Right. And the Eagles, I don't think, want to rely on Saquon because they don't want to give him 400 touches again this year, back-to-back seasons.
That's
They're going
fair.
to want him to be...
No, that's very fair. It has not been a formula that is won for teams in the history of the game.
So it's funny how that message last year pissed me off, but the message this year, I'm kind of like, all right, yeah, let's figure it out. Now, my question is, what do you guys think the identity is? So we did a post-show headlines on Friday last week, the post-game post-show headlines. And I asked John, is this Jalen Hurts' team? Like, the offense will no longer run through Saquon. It's going to run through Jalen Hurts. Now, that could still mean him handing the ball off to Saquon. But checking at the line of scrimmage, which he should probably do more of with Kevin Patullo, his ability to run, which he was not shy to do this past week against the Dallas Cowboys.
We didn't talk much about it. He looked very decisive doing it, and he looked fast.
Yes, he did.
Looked great.
And also, knowing that they're probably going to stack the box at times, he's going to have to throw, which is something I've been saying all offseason. Like, you're going to need more from Jalen Hurts this year. And I believe that he can do it. To say you're going to need more from him is not a slight. They can't copy-paste what they did last year and do it this year. They just can't. So what is the identity of the Eagles' offense? What do you think it will be?
I believe that the identity of the Philly offense is still going to be bully the opponents. Bully them. It's still going to be the physicality of the Eagles dictates everything that they do.
By the way, you could bully in the pass game.
No, you can.
Stuff underneath.
No, I think they're going to I think that's what you're going to see. As long as you have your tight end.
Yeah.
You need that. If you're going to tell me you're going to bully them in the passing game, you got to have your tight end. A.J. Brown can bully people. Devontae's not a bully.
Sure.
Devontae's a ballet star. He's
Yeah.
Baryshnikov,
Right.
out there.
But you can throw him the ball and then A.J. Brown do the bullying.
And remember, I do think Saquon will be more involved in the passing game this year.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to see what this offense is going to look like. And it's still, we only saw 1 week, and they did what they had to do to win a game in that situation.
Right.
And it was weird. We're not going to have an hour break this week.
No.
No.
Fingers
But we are
crossed.
going to have a hot day.
Yes, we will.
So.
I just I don't know. I celebrate it this year. It's weird how the exact same message 1 year removed is totally different.
Well, you know why
Or how
you do
I
that.
receive it. How?
It's
Why?
because you have more trust in the team.
It's because you had a parade. It's because we were broadcasting on Valentine's Day from a parade.
That's true.
Like, think about the faith level in Jalen Hurts in this moment versus the faith level in Nick Sirianni in week 4 of last year. That dude was potentially on the hot seat for his job. This
he
dude
was
is
on the hot seat.
The Super Bowl MVP. Like, it's just you have more faith in the person giving you the message because they're asking you to trust them when they
Right.
say, we'll find it. And last year we didn't.
Well, and last year, again, last year, this year. I don't know what the offense will look like this year. I had a belief of what the best thing was for the offense last year.
I don't
And it
understand.
took 6 weeks for them to finally do it.
I don't understand why. I truly don't. Except that it was just stubbornness.
I think that's what part of it was.
That they didn't want to do what the players wanted them to do. But thank God the offensive line bullied their way into it and that they listened.
Well, it goes back to what I asked Amy Trask. Like, there are some teams that 100% go, all right, that's working for that team, so we have to try to replicate.
It's a copycat league for a reason. When they say that, it's the truth.
But if you don't have the pieces to copycat,
You can't do it.
Like, Jalen Hurts is not Josh Allen, right?
He's not.
Josh
They're not
Allen.
Josh Allen. Jalen Hurts isn't going to have many 400-yard days.
No. And Josh Allen is doing it with Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman. But Jalen Hurts does things with Saquon Barkley. Like that. You have to base your team off of some of the players that you have. For whatever reason, in all sports, this isn't just a football thing. There are coaches that have a belief of what they think works regardless of who's on the team. And that's one of the dumbest things that I think people can do.
You got to be who you are.
Imagine having 9 slap hitters in your lineup and going, no, but we are a home run hitting team because that's what baseball's about these days.
Bill Parcells was the greatest run-first coach ever. 3 yards cloud of dust. He went to New England, drafted Drew Bledsoe, and became a pass-first offense.
Because he had a
Number one
quarterback.
pick. Because that's what he did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a lot of teams don't do that in all of sports. Like Brett Brown. Still bothers me. All right, coming up next, 3 more. Oh, dude, I can't wait to get into this story. It's a shame. 3 more players have been banned for life for gambling. This one, probably the most dumbest and egregious. We'll also check our text messages, but I'll give you this story coming up next. It's crazy here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The outfield leads the way. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies smoked the Mets again last night. An 11-3 final. It has been blowout after blowout in the past couple of games. 3 straight victories over New York. Christopher Sanchez went 6 innings, 1 earned, and the Phillies outfield provided a majority of the offense. Bader, Marsh, and Kepler combined for 8 hits, 5 runs scored, and 7 RBIs in the game. 5 of those RBIs coming off the bat of Max Kepler, who Rob Thompson talked about.
I think he's getting the ball up in the air. He's pulling the ball when he needs to. He's hitting the ball the other way when he needs to, and he's got his confidence. So a lot of times when a guy goes to a new team, it puts a little more pressure on himself than he probably should, but he's in a really good spot right now.
And now the lead in the division is up to 10 games for the Phils over those Mets. They can add to that in Game 4, 7:15 tonight as they go for the sweep. Jesus Luzardo faces David Peterson. Eagles got their first injury report of the week yesterday after practice, and Dallas Goddard did not participate due to a knee issue. We'll keep you updated on that. Tanner McKee and Will Shipley were also out. Landon Dickerson and Jay Hunt were limited. We got a big game tonight with the Commanders taking on the Packers at Lambeau on Thursday Night Football. So we'll be watching that closely for how it affects the NFC seeding. This update is brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles. Let you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia Sports.
Touchdown, Saquon!
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making, for anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It suspends him, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship / spitting / conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. Give us a couple of text messages, Connor, on any of our topics that we've been discussing today, in case you're just tuning in. Philly Sanity Week continues to be an absolute home run. 3 wins against the New York Mets. Everybody should be feeling better. Even if you don't think that they're going to win the World Series, you still got to sit there and say, all right, this team is definitely looking better, and the boogeyman that it is the New York Mets, the Phillies have just taken the first 3 of this series and could potentially sweep them. Also, we got into a conversation about tonight's Thursday Night Football matchup between the Packers and Commanders. Packers hosting the Commanders.
A very spirited conversation.
It has been. And yesterday, when I brought that up, John's immediate reaction was go, Pack, go. And I said, are you sure about that? Because my thought is I believe the Eagles, even if the Commanders were to win today, win the NFC East. If the Packers win today, that's one more win and another NFC win for them toward potentially being in your way from being the top seed in the NFC. And if you remember last year, the Eagles benefited. Whether you want to agree or not, the Eagles benefited from the Detroit Lions losing to the Commanders and the Eagles hosting the NFC Championship game. If the Lions were totally healthy and they hosted the NFC Championship game and the Eagles had to go to Detroit, I'm not saying they wouldn't have won, but it would have been a lot different.
They wouldn't have been
than
favored.
a beatdown.
Yeah, they
like
wouldn't have been favored.
Right, and it was an absolute beatdown of the Commanders. So to me, the Packers losing tonight, Packers losing tonight, Commanders winning tonight, increases the Eagles' chances of home field throughout the playoffs.
Okay, so this is what's very good about this. So I put the question to my buddy out in Vegas, who is already up like Amy Trask.
Sure.
Works MGM Resorts, helps to set lines. And I said, if the Eagles' chances to win the NFC Championship, so this is how I worded it to make sure it goes, are the Eagles' chances to win the NFC Championship better or worse if the Commanders win tonight? And then I said to him, conversely, are the Eagles' chances to win the NFC Championship better or worse if the Packers win tonight?
Okay.
Flat out, capital letters.
This is a Vegas super.
He sets lines.
Super guy. Yeah.
Flat out. The Eagles' chances to win the NFC Championship are exponentially better if the Packers lose tonight.
Oh.
This is an odds maker. This is exponentially better if the Packers lose tonight. Now, it is important to win your division first, but if you assume the Eagles are the best team in their division and will win that division, you absolutely, as an Eagles fan, want the Packers to take every loss that they can.
And we've had this energy since the schedules came out that the Eagles will win the NFC.
And then he said, too, is that the Packers already have given you a Lions loss. They've already given the Lions one of those losses. He says you're worried about the Packers and the Lions probably as the 2 biggest threats, and you can take care of the Rams yourself in a couple weeks.
Damn right.
So there you go. So it's you. If you
Sometimes I'm on to something,
if you want an NFC Championship, and I corrected my path because I said yesterday, go Pack, go, which I'm going to hear tonight a million times. If you've ever go to a game in Green Bay, it is one of the most annoying things. They do it.
Yeah, but if you go one time.
No. But every first down, it's a dun, 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 go Pat, go, dun, 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 and they've got that. Oh my God!
Yeah, every team has that though,
and it's relentless with the band. With the band thing,
dude. The Buccaneers have one. I forget what it is, but we will be there in a couple of weeks. It's every time there's a first down, and I'll be honest, I was like, wow, it's kind of cool around here.
Yeah, not us Eagles fans. We would never chant the name of our team every time something happens.
Exactly.
No, but we don't do every first down.
Yeah, we do.
No,
what do we do? We don't chant Eagles every first down.
We do it when Bryce Harper hits a single. We chant EAGLES.
There's not at an Eagles game. They do not chant Eagles every first down.
No, but they do. That's an Eagles first down.
Yeah, but I'm talking about they play a musical jingle and do this. Dun, 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 dun,
That's their thing.
And they do. They have a thing.
Yeah, everyone has a thing.
I loved it when I was at Wrigley and the Cubs won, and I was able to hear "Go."
Did you
Cubs
sing
go.
the song?
I did not sing it because I'm not a Cubs fan, but it was cool seeing it in person.
So you didn't join in the song?
I'm not a Cubs fan.
So you wouldn't join in? You really? Even that day, you were a Cubs fan for the day? Was it against the Phillies?
Against the Cardinals. It was Cubs-Cardinals. I was just happy to be there.
Oh, wow.
What, you go to a Cowboys game, you're going to say, go boys, we them boys?
No.
Just because you're in the building?
Cowboys is different. Cubs aren't a rival.
Okay.
Cubs aren't a rival. You're in a Cubs game. You having a couple beers, they sing Go Cubs Go?
I don't root for that team. I'm not,
with Angie. No, I'm not going to do that.
Well, okay. That's interesting. But you'll wear other teams' gear, right?
I did when I was in college.
Okay, I'm just saying you wear other teams' gear, but you won't sing a song. You're there having a couple beers at Wrigley, and you won't sing Cubs.
I'm not going to sing Go Cubs
You
Go.
won't sing Go Cubs Go with the whole building when they're singing it?
No.
Wow, interesting.
And I didn't that night.
Wow, but you'll wear other teams' gear. I'm just trying to draw the lines
What are you
of what
trying
is
to pin
acceptable.
down here?
I'm trying to draw
really
what the
confused
lines
by
of
what
what
he's
you
trying
would
to
be
do.
offended by, what you wouldn't do as a fan.
I wear an
I
Ichiro
would
jersey
never
because he's my favorite player.
I would never wear other teams' jerseys or another team's gear.
But you'll
another
clearly
team's
celebrate with their wins.
No, if I was at, I don't. I wasn't there for it. But if I was, I think I'd sing that if I was at a Cubs.
Johnny, we them boys. I can hear Johnny saying it now. Wow.
Not for the boys. Not for the boys. For a non-rival, sure. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? Cubs are going to win today.
Are you singing Hail to the Commanders tonight?
Seriously, yeah.
No, you're the host of the Commanders.
You could try and spin this. You guys are the ones rooting for the division
There's no
rival
spin.
tonight.
No, you're the one saying you think that it's
Bill
you're worried
Sender
about
wants
it.
to know, would a Cubs fan sing Fly Eagles Fly? No, absolutely not.
If the Cubs consider, if the Bears are 4-12, maybe they would.
Nah.
They don't consider it.
I don't think so. Dawood wants to know if you do the dirty bird when you're in Atlanta.
No. In fact, I said I got gifted. I got gifted when I left all the jerseys.
Yeah.
The franchises all gifted me with the jersey with my name on it, and those jerseys have not touched. And they are. And I said, so my daughter's like, I don't want them, but they're saved. My name's on them. I said, so maybe a grandchild, maybe I'll want them someday. If not, whatever. They'll just stay sealed and vacuum bagged. They're in that one of those things where you go.
Okay.
You put the bag in, takes the air out of them.
By the way, Scott McMullen, they do the first down, Tampa, and then everybody screams Bay. Everybody.
Okay, it's
actually, like, I'll be honest.
Okay, that's cool.
When I was down there last time, and you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Tampa Bay, there's like, not everybody there is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, right? Like, we're going to take over the building. There will be a lot of Eagles fans on Philly sports trips with you and I in Tampa. Tampa's one of those teams where, like, half the stadium is Tampa Bay fans, the other half is the opposition. But the people that are diehard Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, they do it up. They dress up like the Pirates, and they get into it. I give them credit.
Paul Skeens?
I give them credit, man. By the way, speaking of Paul Skeens, I saw a guy yesterday at my local ShopRite wearing a Garrett Cole Pirates jersey.
Oh, that's a good pull right there.
It was, but I'm like, why are you wearing that? Like, what made you yesterday, wake up and say, I'm going to wear my Garrett Cole Pirates jersey today?
Yeah, what's he wearing it for?
He's been gone for a long time, and even if he is a Pirates fan, the Pirates stink, but, like, wouldn't you have a Skeens jersey by now?
Maybe it was laundry day.
It could have been. You could be right. All right,
you're really down on laundry day. I mean, you've really let it slide.
Crazy story in the NCAA yesterday. They banned 3 Division I basketball players. I told Johnny this story this morning. Connor, you were busy doing some stuff in the studio. Their names, Michael Robinson, Steven Vasquez, and Jaylen Weaver. All right, so these are 3 different individuals, 3 different players. And at one point, Robinson and Vasquez were teammates and roommates at Fresno State. Robinson still at Fresno State. Vasquez then transferred to San Jose State. So they were no longer teammates, but they were still buddies when they were roommates together and teammates early on. According to the NCAA, in January of 2025, Robinson, who was a player at Fresno State, and Vasquez, who was then at San Jose State, discussed over text message that Robinson planned to underperform in several statistical categories during a regular season game. Robinson also placed multiple bets on Weaver, his teammate at Fresno State, because he was in on it. During one game, Robinson, Vasquez, and a third party bet a combined $2,200 on Robinson to underperform, and they want to pay out just under $16,000.
Okay, that's incredible. They got too greedy.
During the same season, Robinson placed 13 daily fantasy sports over/under bets, totaling $454 on parlays that included his own performance. At one point, he won a $600 bet on just his own prop bets.
Boy, they got so greedy.
Robinson placed multiple bets on Weaver, including 2 bets placed before a game in December of 2024. Weaver exchanged information about the respective betting lines. Weaver placed a $50 prop bet on a parlay for himself. He, Robinson, and a third athlete each won $260. So
Now
they did this numerous.
Now, the thing is, the $260 they could have gotten away with. $16,000 you can't get away
once
with.
it gets
Once you
flagged.
well, first off, you're getting the W-2. I mean, you're getting not the W-2, you get the W-9.
W-9, yep.
Whatever it is. The minute you do that, somebody has their eyeballs on it.
Right.
That's incredible.
And these guys were teammates.
That's so stupid.
That means they screwed over the rest of their team because I don't know how the games went.
You work so hard to be a professional athlete. I mean, to be a college athlete. And then you're willing to screw your teammates over?
Yeah. Or yourself over.
You're a bad individual.
I don't know what the futures were.
They have no futures. Playing. They have no futures.
But like
you don't even know their names, and they're playing for those programs.
Maybe they played overseas or something. You know what I mean? Like you could be a professional basketball player playing in Istanbul. It's a living to start, and then eventually you stop playing. It's just I can't believe guys are wasting away their careers. And Michael Porter Jr. will understand why. Remember, he said that.
Sure he will.
Oh, I don't blame anybody for trying to make money. Crazy. All right, coming up next. Speaking of basketball. At what point will commissioners of sports stop saying stupid things about the leagues they run? Oh, my God, was yesterday nonsense. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoon?
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making. For anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship/spitting/conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
12 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. Yesterday, we talked about the Sixers for like 2 minutes. And now today, we're going to talk about the NBA for a few more. Not about the upcoming season from a league standpoint. Where do the Sixers rank in the Eastern Conference? No. We're talking about the commissioner of the NBA, because for some weird reason, I feel like commissioners feel the need to say dumb things. Roger Goodell being so open and honest about his dislike for the tush push because he just doesn't like it. He did not like the way that it looked, tried getting it banned.
Oh, and he did.
Rob Manfred, when the Astros cheating scandal happened, he went on to say that we are complaining over a piece of metal when he was talking about the World Series trophy that every player in the league is striving toward that piece of metal, you nitwit. My God, it's stupid. Like, you guys, honestly, it should be an easy job, the commissioner of sports. It really should be.
I don't know if I'd say that.
I think on stuff like that, on something like that, it should be.
Don't say something that moronic. Like, oh, it's just a piece of metal. The World Series trophy? My God. So yesterday, Adam Silver, it's being obviously talked about at length, the new way to watch basketball this year over like 18 different streaming services. Take a listen to Adam Silver talking about that, because he was being asked a lot of questions about the fans who have been saying, I can't afford all those streaming services. I just want to watch basketball. Here was Adam Silver's response.
This is very much a highlights-based sport, so Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you name it, any service, the New York Times for that matter, to the extent that your content is not behind a paid firewall. There's an enormous amount of content out there. YouTube, by another example, that is advertising-based that consumers can consume.
What he's saying is, hey, if you can't afford it, don't worry. You'll be able to see highlights.
Which makes no sense. I mean, it's so
it's stupid.
Let them eat cake.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a league that when I was in high school, did not even have their NBA finals on national TV in prime time.
Right.
They were shown after the 11 o'clock news. Sixers-Lakers was shown on TV nationally after the 11 o'clock news. In 81? They forgot where they came from.
Yeah.
He's forgotten where he's come from.
And look, this is a league that a couple years ago was on the rise. Remember all the talk about, could this be the number 2 sport behind football, and how close could they get? Like, all this stuff. They were on the rise, and I thought Adam Silver was doing a tremendous job. But in recent years, the amount of, hey, let the players sort of run the league, I think it went
out of control.
It went too far.
Yeah.
It's gone completely out of control. His obsession with, instead of fixing the product, but let me create an in-season tournament that nobody really cares about other than the 12th guy on the bench that would like to get that payday.
Or go to Vegas.
Just trying to constantly change the All-Star game where nobody's watching the All-Star game because your All-Stars don't care about it. Like, they don't care about it. But instead of trying to be like, all right, no, I want you to care about it, or we will lower the amount of regular season games because that might give players more of a reason to play, less load management. I understand everybody cares about lining the pockets, the owners and all that kind of stuff. And I know that the commissioner of the sport is team owner before anybody else. But to talk about your own league in that light, our league is a highlight-driven sport. You're telling everybody not to watch. You're telling me not to sit down at tip-off of a Sixers game or any NBA game
you
for that matter. You can
just catch the highlights.
I can just catch the highlights.
Yep.
That's what he's telling you. He's telling you our league does not matter. Our league matters when you can't afford our league. If you really want to watch our league, you have to pay for it. But if you don't care that much, highlights are for you. Like, think about that for a second. Think about a baseball game. Hey, don't watch tonight. Just watch the highlights tomorrow. Football, don't bother. Just watch the highlights tomorrow.
It's so
These leagues don't do that.
It's really arrogant. Like, it's really arrogant.
It's an insane thing to say.
What does the NFL do in their marketing? There's that great commercial that they're airing right now where the guy is flying to Buffalo and he's delayed. Their plane's delayed.
Yeah.
And he's watching on his tablet.
It's a great commercial.
And then all the other people that are flying to Buffalo, too, they can't see their game.
Yeah.
They're all trying to watch the Bills game, and they're all huddled around.
And then when they say your flight's ready, they boo.
No, the flight's delayed.
And then they celebrate.
Your flight's delayed another hour, and they're like, yeah,
Right.
go Bills. Because that's great marketing.
It's like the Buffalo Wild Wings commercial.
You cannot miss a minute of an NFL game. That's a perfect way to put it.
But Adam Silver's saying, don't worry about watching a minute of the game.
Megamind
Watch the highlights
just doesn't
tomorrow.
get it.
It's just weird. Like, how can a commissioner be that off base where you're talking about your product that way? You should not say, hey, we are not a highlights-driven league. We are a league where you have to watch. How is that not something that you think? I get it. Everybody's got to be quick. Everything's got to be 15 seconds. Every video's got to be quick. Every audio clip's got to be quick. Every story's got to be quick.
You got to set right where the tape is.
The tweets have to be 50 characters. Like, all this stuff is nonsense. But why would you say that about your own league?
I think you've sold yourself way short.
You can say, watch the games and then watch our highlights on Instagram and TikToks and Click Clocks and all these other things. Like, all these weird accounts that I don't have. I have Twitter.
Click Clock. Did you have Click Clock? That's a great. You got to get Click Clock.
MySpace still active?
MySpace is great.
Maybe. Gotta check that one out.
Go check your MySpace page.
Top 8?
By the way, that girl that you never thought would message you back, she did.
Oh, I just haven't seen it.
She's like 30 now.
So much.
She's divorced and she's not happy.
I don't have that yet.
And Haley has her MySpace. It's still up, she said.
Good. All right, coming up next.
So check out Haley on MySpace.
Vegas may be telling us what to think about tonight's game. Again, should we hope for the underdog to win? We'll discuss more of that next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies smoked the Mets again. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Bet365. Football is back. Get ready for the season at Bet365. When it comes to sportsbooks, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Phils smoked the Mets again last night in an 11-3 final, their third straight victory over New York. Christopher Sanchez went 6 strong innings, only 1 earned. And the Phils outfield was great at the dish. Bader, Marsh, Kepler combining for 8 hits, 5 runs scored, and 7 RBIs. 5 of those RBIs coming from Max Kepler. Rob Thompson talked about his resurgence after the game.
I think he's getting the ball up in the air. He's pulling the ball when he needs to. He's hitting the ball the other way when he needs to, and he's got his confidence. So a lot of times when a guy goes to a new team, it puts a little more pressure on himself than he probably should, but he's in a really good spot right now.
The lead in the NL East is up to 10 games. Phils play the Mets one more time tonight. It's 7:15 first pitch. Jesus Luzardo versus David Peterson. The Eagles had a bit of a surprising injury report. Dallas Goddard did not practice with a knee injury yesterday on the first injury report of the week. Landon Dickerson, Jalix Hunt limited, so we'll keep an eye on that as the week progresses. Big matchup tonight between the Commanders and the Packers at Lambeau. This update's also brought to you by Wendy's. Their breakfast 2 for $3 biggie bundles let you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Yo, everybody.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him one game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making, for anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship/spitting/conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for Week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-time
game, but we got some news in the NFL. Brock Purdy, per Ian Rappaport, will miss 2 to 5 weeks. So could be 2, could be 5, could be 3 or 4. But the 49ers will be without Brock Purdy for 2 to 5 weeks because of turf toe. As they've been saying, the toe injury is worse than the shoulder injury that he sustained in Week 1. Now, this is, again, really interesting because the 49ers and their strength of schedule being the easiest in the NFL, they're a team that I still considered dangerous in terms of winning football games, and maybe they benefit from the weak schedule and have a higher seed. But if they cannot stay healthy, which was their problem last year, then they're going to have a tough road ahead of them. Now, this is what's going to be really interesting. Mac Jones is Brock Purdy's backup, so Mac Jones will be the starting quarterback.
Who obviously was the starting quarterback for 2 seasons in New England?
Correct, and a former first-round pick.
Right. Top pick, like a top 10? Top 15, something like that?
I forget when he was selected.
Top 15, something like that?
Nobody's sitting here telling you that Mac Jones is some superstar.
Correct.
But we've been saying that Brock Purdy is not some superstar, and Brock Purdy got paid $50 million a year. All right, $250 million contract he signed. It is going to be pure theater that if Mac Jones goes out there and plays well, because once again, who his coach is in Kyle Shanahan, I will remind you that I said that the 49ers should not have paid Brock Purdy because it's going to limit what else they can do on that roster. When I know that Kyle Shanahan is just one of those coaches that can make it work with other quarterbacks. Now,
correct.
How great would Kyle Shanahan be if he had a top 10 quarterback, right? He would be spectacular. Thing is, he did not have a top 10 quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo, but that was still good enough to get to a Super Bowl.
And Brock Purdy.
To
a Super Bowl.
So it's going to be theater that if Mac Jones goes out there and plays well, I will sit here and go, yeah, that's why you don't pay Brock Purdy $250 million.
Correct.
This has nothing to do with the injury. I'm just talking about how.
It's like you didn't have to do that.
No. Well,
you didn't have to.
They felt the need that they had to because that's the going market, and teams will lie to themselves and say, we have a guy that's going to help us win. Whereas I think the guy for the San Francisco 49ers is the head coach. I don't think the guy is the quarterback. I think the guy is the head coach. So it's going to be really interesting to see.
They're paying him enough.
Yeah.
That head coach, they're paying that son of a.
But what I'm saying is, like, I don't think the Niners needed to pay $250 million to a guy that I think benefits from having Kyle Shanahan as his head coach. And I'm really interested to see how Mac Jones does, because is there going to be much of a fall off? I don't know. I got to see.
I think Mac Jones is going to do well in that offense.
And if he does, then I'll sit here and go, I told you, like, you didn't need to pay this guy all that money. He's not that good. All right. Got a big game tonight. A big game tonight.
And this man was a winner last week.
Hell
he
was.
gave our listeners a winner last week if they called.
And it was unbelievable with the way that game played out. Of course, last Thursday, we had Eagles and Cowboys. And now joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day in business is a big day, let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. This guy just continues to win for us, all right? Continues to win for us. And we have a big game tonight. Implications for the NFC, implications for the Birds, and where they could stand in terms of conference seedings. You got to check out GBIWins.com and call the recorded line, 1-800-885-2525. That's 1-800-885-2525. And that's where you'll get the information from our man, Michael Westwood of GBIWins.com. Yep. Key. What's up, Michael? Good morning.
My guys, what's going on? Very, very stressed out today. Let's get it out of the way.
How you liking it, Michael?
Congratulations.
Michael, ribeye, by the way. God. Ribeye is always a good cut.
And in case people are tuning in,
I'm thinking ribeye.
In case people don't know, why are you very stressed out this morning, Michael?
I don't want to say it, but you know what? I'm a good loser. I'm very disappointed in this Mets organization. I'm very disappointed in their pitching. I'm very disappointed in their offense. But listen, you guys came to New York and got your butts kicked in. So listen to me closely. It's not how you start the race. It's how you finish.
Yeah, once you get to the race.
Yeah,
you have to hope you get to the race. You got to get to the race first. Right now.
That's what I'm worried about.
You got a lame horse. They're whinnying to the finish line. Man.
I know. I heard someone say ribeye. I heard someone say lobster. I don't mind doing it.
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of time. Magic number 7.
Well, here's the deal. I know that Michael would take care of us because you're taking care of some people today. Where are you right now, Michael?
Let me tell you something. Let's get to football, like you said. I mean, I'm going to give you guys a little lesson today on what betting is all about, but I want to start by saying tonight is a game that I am guaranteeing my clients. And what I say about that, I don't like to do as guarantee, but what I'm saying is that I'm going to give the whole weekend. If, God forbid, if the world falls apart, God forbid, and I lose this game tonight, I'm going to give the whole weekend absolutely free. The Commanders are playing the Packers tonight. I've got tremendous insight on this game. Guys, the line makers in Vegas are totally off with this game. All right, I'm giving it out as my game of the month. I'm 15-2 in the last 17 years with this type of information. All your listeners have to do right now, it's free. It's on a recorded message line. All they have to do right now is dial 1-800-885-2525. That's 1-800-885-2525. You'll be connected to my free recorded comp line, and you're going to get the winner of the Commanders and Packers. No sales pitches, no hype. If you like the win, you give us a call back tomorrow, and we discuss how you can get involved with our firm.
And it sounds like the phone lines are already ringing, 1-800-885-2525. It is your NFL game of the month. As you mentioned, over the last 17 games where you have done the game of the month, you are 15-2. And I think you're putting your money where your mouth is because you're there, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm not there yet. I'm outside. I'm probably about 45 minutes away. I got to do some press there, but I am going to be at Lambeau this evening with 7 of my largest clients. So the bottom line is this. It's very simple, okay? Making money in this sports consulting firm is easy if you follow what I tell you to do. The general public, they play parlays, they play reverses, they play props. Don't do that, all right? Betting smaller is better, okay? What I mean by that, play one game tonight. That's all I ask. The game is a winner. It's Christmas in September from me to you. Commanders, Packers, free on my free recorded comp line. 1-800-885-2525. All you have to do is call that recorded line now. It's free.
And I'm going to guess that you wouldn't bring some of your top clients to a game that you don't feel that confident in. Like I could tell just by the way you're talking.
Well, I mean, he's going to cost them a ton of money if he's not
you don't
right.
want to do
He's
that.
going to do that. He's going to get it right.
So you feel that good. You're bringing your clients out there with you. It's great. And I just love that the phone's blowing up already.
Blowing up, guys. Blowing up. Listen, I'm going to travel, halfway across the country from New York over to Wisconsin to go to a football game. I'm going for a reason, okay? It's very, very early in the season. Normally, I don't have this type of information yet, but I've established tremendous information between this Commander and Packers matchup this evening, and it's free. I want to show your players what winning is all about. I want to teach them how to make money at this crazy game called sports wagering, and I can do that. Ring my phone now, recorded message, 1-800-885-2525. Again, call 1-800-885-2525. Get the winner, and then call us back.
Great job, Michael.
Yeah.
And remember, DePaul's table. That's where the steak will be.
That's where he wants his steak.
Dinner will be.
He's not going to let you forget that one,
It's going to be delicious, too. Michael's going to love it, except when he pays for it.
I hate to say it, probably make the reservation now, and all of a sudden I'm going to become a Phillies fan. Just like I did with a Bird fan last year.
Thanks,
I
man.
love rooting for winners. So
you did.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Go answer those phones,
Good
Michael.
job. Get on those
we
phones.
appreciate it, brother. There's Michael Westwood from GBIWins.com.
Love you guys. See you, man.
See you, dude. He feels good about this game
Love
to the
that.
point where he's bringing his clients out there. See that?
I love hearing that.
That's how you know he's confident. Because could you imagine bringing out your top paying clients and you don't win?
No, that's fantastic.
And you have to look them in the eye.
No, he's confident on this one.
He absolutely
And I think people want to make that call.
Yeah.
He gave you a winner last week.
I think the people were calling already.
He's incredibly confident on this game.
All right, coming up next, we got text messages. We got the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. A whole lot more on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philly fans, you are the best.
All right, so Shefty, obviously the big news yesterday, we finally got the official statement by the league that Jaylen Carter will not be suspended for Week 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Give us as much information as you have on it. Was it definitely just because he almost missed the entire first game against the Cowboys? Did Lamar Jackson's actions have anything to do with him not being suspended? Give us as much information as you have on Jaylen Carter and his status for week 2.
Well, I think that when you look at precedent, there was no precedent for a player, I think, missing a full game and then being suspended for another game for spitting. I think we start with that. Now, I think part of the question was Troy Vincent had told executives, GMs, coaches at the owners' meetings in the spring that there would be a zero-tolerance policy for sportsmanship issues. And this clearly was a sportsmanship issue. It was a sportsmanship issue, no doubt about it. But ultimately, the league decided that because he missed that entire game, that was the time that he would serve. They fined him 1 game check. Again, he makes just over $1 million in a year. And I don't care who you are and what you're making. For anybody to get hit with a fine of $57,222, that's a blow to the wallet for anybody, especially, somebody in his position, a young guy just starting out. And so the league gives him the fine. It's suspension, which I have not seen that before, where it says we're making the suspension retroactive to last week. Like that I have not seen phrased before, and I think what they're doing there is they're just framing it and setting it up so that if there are sportsmanship/spitting/ conduct issues in a game that a player plays, that the league will reserve the right to suspend that player for a game. So I think that's why they phrased it the way they did. But Jaylen Carter, because he didn't play last week, he will now get to play on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Check something here. So we know that Brock Purdy, there was major line movement. The Niners will be without Brock Purdy this weekend against the New Orleans Saints. Mac Jones will be getting the start. It opened as 7-point favorite. San Francisco on the road in New Orleans. It went down to 3.
5.5?
Down to 3.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't see, dude.
I'd be all
see
over that. Look, Mac Jones was the starting quarterback and wasn't terrible.
And it's Kyle Shanahan. I don't look at it.
I wouldn't worry about that.
He's one of few guys.
Wow, I'm gonna go to my BetParks app and bet that right now.
He's one of few guys. I know you have your opinion about him.
Is the game in?
It's in New Orleans.
Oh, I don't care.
I'm sorry, Johnny, but betting Spencer Rattler versus Mac Jones in the year 2025, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
No, I'm absolutely.
No, but again, you're not hearing me. When I look at the San Francisco 49ers, kind of like the way I look at the LA Rams. I don't look at who the quarterback is. I look at the guy that's calling the plays, and they do something special. Same with Andy. Like, look, Patrick Mahomes is a different beast, but, like, remember, Andy did win with Alex Smith. You know what I mean? Like, he did win with A.J. Feely. Like, there are some coaches where you just sit there and go, all right, they can win with whomever. And they're not trying to win a Super Bowl with Mac Jones. They're trying to win a couple of games before Brock Purdy comes back. But what I'm watching, again, is Kyle Shanahan. And, man, I will be insufferable if I see Mac Jones put together a couple of good weeks, because it's going to go back to my opinion of Brock Purdy that, yeah, sure, you can win with him, but he should not be getting paid $250 million.
That's anti what we've been talking about all week. Are the 49ers not a potential threat to the Eagles in the NFC?
I've been saying that they are.
So shouldn't we want Mac Jones to look terrible? Just like we're talking about the Packers.
We're not talking about wanting
I'm not
him.
telling you.
We're not talking about wanting what we're wanting him to look. It's what is going to happen.
I'm going to laugh
He's
at
playing the Saints.
when he plays just as well as Brock Purdy.
Right.
I'm going to hope he doesn't. Like you
Okay, you can hope all you want.
You can wish and hope all you want.
I'm not sitting here telling you like I want the 49ers to win, because I literally said on ESPN National,
go win your bets,
that the 49ers are a dark horse team for me because of who they have as the
they're
coach,
very dark.
And their schedule is weak. I don't want that to happen. I would like them to lose to the New Orleans Saints and Spencer Rattler. I just don't believe that to be the case.
I don't think people realize how rotten Kyle Shanahan is, but he's a great coach. Like, would you have monogram towel clips, the Salciunas? Like, no matter how rich you ever get, are you going to get the monogram towel clips?
I have the towels with the S on it.
Oh, you do?
People for our wedding gift. People gave it to
people gave them to you.
Yeah, I didn't go out there and buy it.
Then you get the monogram towel clips and the.
Oh no, I don't. I don't even. My towel clip is the chip clip.
Is it the chip clip?
Yeah, man. By the way, what's a towel? Like, I don't even.
They have these towel clips.
I'll be honest, I don't even.
The Shanahans would come to the pool, and they would come to the pool first.
Yeah, and they put it.
As soon as the pool opened, one of them would come down, and they would pick 4 like premium chairs.
Sure.
For like the little brats, and they would take the chairs and put these monogram towels out with the monogram towel clips that keep the towel from blowing off.
Just letting you know that it's their chairs.
This is our chair, and then leave for like 2.5 hours. Those are the worst people on earth that do that. Premium chairs, and then be like, oh, no, but these are our chairs. Nobody else uses
I don't even use a towel anymore.
Jerks.
I air dry. When you're on the beach, it's hot out.
No, they're not at the beach. They're at the pool.
It's hot out. You don't go to the pool in December. You go to the pool, it's hot out, and you air dry. That's how I look at it. What do we got on the text line?
Good way to look at it.
We have some people who want Wendy's gift cards, and we also have a bunch of people checking in on our conversations from today.
Tell me that I need to give away the Wendy's gift card one more time.
We missed the whole hour.
Put it on the screen.
I did.
He did. He gave it to you on the screen. I had Connor's back on that one.
Matt from Levittown checks in and says, I'm not afraid of the Commanders, but I do hate every team in the division, and I want them to lose every week. So for that reason, I'm rooting for Green Bay.
Wow. So you're rooting against the best path for the Eagles to the Super Bowl. I get it.
So to
Makes
that,
no sense.
To that logic, Eagles need a team to lose week 17.
Yep.
To get the 1 seed.
But you won't root against them.
But it's the Cowboys,
so I can't root against them.
For the Cowboys.
Can't root for them. That makes no sense.
It's a dramatic example you're using.
But it makes no sense.
I hate every team in the division. I
hate
them to
every
lose.
team. I can never root for them.
No,
that makes no sense.
If it benefits my team, hell yeah. I am rooting for the New York Giants every week this season because I know they're ass. I know they're not going to make the playoffs, but I know that any team that they could potentially beat that could maybe change the seeding, maybe change whatever. You know I'm rooting for I was rooting for the Giants last weekend. I wasn't rooting for a tie. I was rooting for the Giants. Go Big Blue.
Come on.
I wanted the Commanders to lose because it helps the Eagles out in the long run.
We need people to stop being scared.
All right.
At some point.
What else we got on the text line? By the way, how about this? Give me pipe down Connor at 610-632-0975. The first person to send in pipe down Connor will get the third $50 Wendy's gift card. Of course, I love you, Wendy's. Wendy's is delicious. You got to check out
We
Wendy's.
love you, Wendy's.
They got the 2 for $3 biggie bundles, man, which I absolutely love. So you get $50. That's a lot of biggie bundles.
Oh, that's good.
That you can use those $50 on. So again, pipe down Connor to 610-632-0975. Wendy's breakfast 2 for $3 biggie bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. We will have one more to give away before we get out of here. What else we got on the text line?
We also have a check-in here. This texter, Sean, says, Commanders winning tonight is the best option. Packers are the number 1 threat to the Birds' chances, followed by the Bucks. You want those teams to lose more than anything. Commanders do not scare me one bit.
All right, so that was probably me texting in.
The Commanders just can't. It's just crazy. It's a crazy thought process.
But here's the thing. We have been on that feeling since the schedule. There are a lot of people that have not been. And so there are people that view the Commanders as a legitimate threat. They are a threat. They're probably going to win 10 games.
They're going to be in the. They should be a playoff team. but they're not going to win the division.
Right.
And so you're just telling me you think they can win the division. And if you think they can win the division, okay. You think differently about your Philadelphia Eagles than I do.
Right.
That's all you're saying.
Or those
So just
Commanders
admit
than
it.
we do.
No, you think about the Eagles. You think the Eagles are going to be secondary to the Commanders, potentially. I do not. In no universe do I believe that happens.
Sure.
What we kind of used to say in what world? In what world? Used to be your line. Well, there it is. In what world?
When did you say that?
It used to be a Connor
Magic Show. John Dorenbos, Vegas, 20.
Yes, Connor was a little
time ago.
overserved before the John Dorenbos show. He was watching.
What's a bottle service? Kygo was playing.
He was watching all the magical acts that John Dorenbos played, and he's like, "In what world?
It's amazing.
Does someone pull?" It was amazing.
It's amazing.
It's crazy stuff.
All right. It is time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. 3 best minutes from today's show.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
I said I needed a split. I just needed to win the division.
You need sanity in other ways.
In other ways, I could use it, but
when it came to the Phillies, you're right.
I said I needed a split. I said I needed a split, but it damn well feels good.
My God, it feels
I feel better
incredible.
today. Look, I feel great this morning.
Right.
And it's more importantly, and I keep saying to them, I'm a selfish bastard. It's more fun coming to work and doing the show when we're celebrating a team that looks like it is on a roll. And as I told Connor Thomas something the other day, the last 10 World Series champions have had a winning record in September. And that is the first time in baseball history that the World Series champion for 10 consecutive years has had a winning record in the month of September. So I'm excited about that. This team seems to be rolling into shape. Like what I'm seeing out of Brandon Marsh. I said it last night. You realize right now, in the month of September, he's 13 for 24. It's amazing. He's hitting .542 in the month of September. It's absurd. It's absurd. I mean, he is on a tear, and he has a swagger to him. There's a confidence to him. Oh, and by the way, at the end of August, he was going through 1 for 4 game with a walk, 1 for 2, 2 for 3, 2 for 5 with a walk, 0 for 1, 1 for 3 with a walk, and 0 for 4 thrown in. He's been playing well for a month and a half. It seems sustainable, and Kepler has a swagger to him. Now, I think Kepler has a little bit of a swag to him anyway, but now he's doing it with his game. I love it. And credit to the manager.
Sure.
A guy that I rarely credit for a lot of things. I credit him for what I think he's good at. I think he has done a masterful job of filling out the lineup.
You not being remotely afraid of them is flippant.
No, it's not.
I'm with John, dude.
I'm not
Man's
remotely
flipping on both of your parts.
Now, look, if the things that you don't predict, we don't predict injuries. Now, if teams get ravaged by injury, I will gladly revisit my position. If we get a bunch of people out, if there's major destructive injury, we can discuss it. The Commanders I don't think they have 4 guys.
Yeah, but people are looking at this right now and saying there's a lot of season left. That if we want to wrap up the division first, it might be better that Green Bay wins.
I'm telling you, we live in a city where people do not want to accept that the Eagles are who they are.
Amy, good morning. How you doing today?
I think people generally in life as a whole, not simply in sports, often stick to narratives. But we don't need to go into the whole life narrative situation, of course. Look, Andy is a tremendous, tremendous head coach. Patrick is a tremendous, tremendous quarterback. That doesn't mean there aren't other phenomenal head coaches and phenomenal quarterbacks. And Philadelphia got the job done and earned that Super Bowl win. And by the way, my hunch is everything you just described, they used within that locker room as motivation. You know, a lot of people listening aren't old enough to remember the Brady Bunch or the Brady Bunch when they said, Marsha, 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 because all they were doing was talking about Marsha Brady. Well, I'm sure that the Eagles got sick of the equivalent of Marsha, 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 which was Andy, 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 Patrick, 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 and I'm sure they used that for motivation.
All right, that is the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 best minutes from today's show. Special thanks to Amy Trask for joining us today. Good job,
Early
Johnny,
morning
on getting
in
her
California.
on. You can check that out on 975thefanatic.com. Also, check out the deal of the week on the 975 The Fanatic website. You can get a 4-pack of tickets to Treehouse World for half off. Adventure awaits. Climb, zip line, and explore at Treehouse World in Westchester for half the price. Get this exclusive offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals. All right, for the fourth and final $50 gift card to Wendy's. The third text word was pipe down Connor, or text words. How about the fourth one? I love Connor. The
That's
fifth
sweet.
person, because I want you to see a lot of them, at least 5.
We're going to get no text.
The fifth person to text I love Connor.
I was going to say Connor is flippant.
At
I love the word flippant.
610-632-0975 will win our fourth of our 4 $50 gift cards. Wendy's Breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. By the way, I invited Connor to the Temple game on Saturday, and he said, no, I don't like you. So that was
No, I said I already booked a golf round. I appreciate you.
I don't blame
and
you.
I'm sorry I can't make it.
I don't blame you for booking the golf round.
You want to see Temple beat the Sooners?
I would love to.
He'd love to see that.
No, I don't know if even people with tickets are going to see that, but we'll find out.
Go
Exactly.
Owls,
You never ever know.
All right, official picks for tonight's game. This does not go to our record, obviously, but Commanders, Packers 3.5-point favorites. The over-under in this game is 48.5. I was just telling you during the Key 3. I think this is a game where both teams run the ball a lot.
So you do not think over tonight?
I think under 48.5. I think the clock will
Unders
be
have been hitting wildly.
Yeah.
How about last weekend? Unders were 2-13 through the first 15 games going into Monday night. Then when did Monday night go? So they were 2-13.
Yeah.
So unders have been hitting wildly. I got a weird feeling on the over.
Okay.
I'm going more. Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown.
That's what I think.
Packers minus 3.5 with the over.
By the way, as much as I want the Commanders to win, I do believe the Packers win.
Yeah, I'll take Packers minus 3.5.
Stinks.
FT Young Heating and Air Conditioning made a donation to the AACR, the American Association for Cancer Research, and you could too. Don't be flippant about it. Go to 975thefanatic.com/AACR. I'm living proof that cancer research saves lives. Connor with the word of the day. Flip it.
Good work,
I
Connor.
love that word.
Thanks, boys.
It's a dramatic word.
It really is.
It's like a dramatic, very dramatic word.
You know
Good
what else
use
is
of
dramatic? Your shooting of papers around here.
Yeah, a little weird today. A little weird.
Today?
There you go.
You finally,
Right
at
in.
least you made the last one.
No,
All
I
right.
didn't. One's on the shelf.
Yeah, I know, and there's one behind my back. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Ray Dunn comes your way next. We'll be back
He's
at it
never
tomorrow.
flippant.
Tomorrow's a football Friday, Johnny.
Can't wait.
We will be talking Eagles-Chiefs all day tomorrow, and hopefully celebrating the sweep of the New York Mets.
That'd be
Everybody have a
fun.
great rest of your day. Talk to you tomorrow here on The Fanatic.
Now,